The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. This sports show will hopefully be a mental vacation for you. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop, and shout out to you wherever the hell you may be, whether you're listening on SiriusXM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio or watching along at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. We can't thank you enough for spending time with us on this gorgeous Tuesday. It has come to our attention that there are some things happening outside of the sports world that are potentially devastating for a lot of our society. What we hope to be on a very regular occasion, and have been hopefully for a lot of people for a long time, is a mental vacation from all the real things in the world, because we are sports stooges talking about sports stoogery. Mm-hmm. Today, there's a lot to talk about. Yesterday, a man retired who has played football at a very high level for a long-ass time. A man who I have do-si-doed with on the football field numerous times. A man who has spurred a conversation now on whether or not he will be a Hall of Famer, and that conversation will probably continue, if my guessing and expectation is correct, probably for the next 30 years. I believe at some point Julian Edelman will end up in the Hall of Fame. I do not believe he will be able to go into the Hall of Fame anytime soon, strictly because his stats are nowhere near what some other wide receiver stats are, who will definitely go in before him. But I do believe with what Julian Edelman was able to accomplish throughout his whole career, I believe he will be a Hall of Famer eventually. Now, is that me not giving an answer on whether or not he's a Hall of Famer? I think it's an answer. I just don't think he's going to be a first ballot. I don't think he's going to be a second ballot Hall of Famer. By the way, a lot of people aren't first ballot Hall of Famers or second ballot Hall of Famers, but I believe Julian Edelman's work of art in the NFL is worthy of a Hall of Fame knock on the door, probably by the same guy, 20 stats for the entire year. He was always somebody you knew was going to give absolutely everything on every single play. There was no give up. There was no quit. There was no nothing. And it felt like Tom Brady would go to him in moments that where he needed a play to be made. He was probably going to end up going to this guy, who I just learned very recently via Gronk's promo he cut on Fox, is nicknamed the Squirrel. Now, the reason why he was an incredible punt returner, in something that doesn't get talked about a lot, they only talk about his wide receiver stats and everything like that, is because I think he played football in a fashion, and Bill Belichick summed it up, is he was fearless, he was committed, he was explosive, he had great vision, and it felt like no matter what happened, his teammates rallied around him. He was the only returner for a good bit of my career that would not have a conversation with me before the game. I was going to be punting to him. He knew I was going to be punting to him. I knew I was going to be punting to him. He would be catching punts from their punter right next to me, which is kind of how it always worked. You would kind of punt the opposite way, and every single time I would try to spark a conversation. I'd say, hey, how you doing? You know, how's it going? And they would probably say like, not bad, or whatever it was going to be. And I'm like, hey, if we get into the open field today, don't run me over. And normally there's a good little pop there, you know what I mean? And they're like, no, that's you, or whatever they would normally say in a complimentary fashion back, because I've been told that every returner was shown an entire highlight of me tackling people, basically saying to them going into the game, like, cannot end up on this list. There's a lot of people on there, because for returners, getting tackled by the punter is not necessarily a good thing. So I would always try to set the tone in warm-ups. I would try to win them over a little bit. Hey, try to juke me, so then I could potentially use the old bait and tackle where, a little bit of a round white, a little bit slow, try to get the edge. I'm going to close that thing and I'm going to go for it. So whenever they try to run you over, though, there's really, you're kind of stuck in the track. So I was always trying to like, hey, don't run me over. We get in the open field. In Josh Cribbs, actually, we got into the open field on a kickoff, and he tried to run around me, where he very clearly could have just shoved my face right into the ground. He tried to run around me. I wrap him up. I tackle him. As he's standing, he looks at me and goes, I should have tried to run you over. And I laughed. I laughed, and I said, you got it. Julian would not talk to me, would not even say a word. He actually caught 2 punts, the one more. So he caught a punt, and I was trying to talk to him. Then another punt, catches another punt, and then just runs off. Ultimate competitor, would not say anything. I ran into him in L.A. in the offseason. It was after I was doing something on NFL Network, and they asked me to rank my top 5, I think, most feared punt returners or whatever, and I put him at number 1. I put him at number 1. I was like, this guy scares the shit out of me. He's not going to give a fair catch. He's going to try to make the most of every single play. It was on NFL Network. It aired. That hit the social media, and everybody's like, oh, so he's the best returner you've ever seen. It was like, well, he was the one I don't like playing because he just never, I'm a fair catch guy, and he never gave a fair catch or whatever, so kind of spurred an entire conversation. We run into each other a couple weeks later. He said he thanks me for that situation. We have an embrace. We have a couple drinks. We have a good time. And ever since then, it has been an absolute delight following him in social media, his documentaries, the things he creates off the field, whether it's with Danny Amendola, the short little bits, or the burger time thing, or whatever it was, watching him dominate on the field. I am a massive fan of Julian Edelman as a football player, and I was very fortunate to play against him. Now, I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think it's going to be a long time whenever he finally gets in there, but I think he's going to go in. Now, let's go to at Boston Connor, who is a New England Patriot fan. I'd assume you guys absolutely fucking love Julian Edelman.
Oh, yeah, put him in the Hall of Fame, first ballot, no doubt about it. I mean, when you look at everything that he's done over the course of time, he's played defense, he's played special teams, he's played offense, but I feel like rarely do you see a guy retire like this and every single person comes out with something, positive to say. There's nothing negative about Julian Edelman that you saw yesterday on the internet at least.
Well, yeah. The immediate negative was Hines Ward's not in, Reggie Wayne's not in. That's the immediate, which stinks, by the way. Phillip Rivers retires, and instead of taking 2 minutes of saying, hey, Phil, hell of a run.
Hell of a career. Nice job, Phil.
Hell of a run. Instead, it immediately goes, not a Hall of Famer. It's not the Hall of Good. It's not the Hall of Good. It's literally immediately upon the guy's retirement, he hasn't even been able to pick up his whistle at that new school where he's coaching at. They're like, not fucking good enough. Hey, good run starting quarterback for like 25 years in the NFL. Not good enough. You stink. Get the fuck out of here.
Sorry.
It's about time you're tired, man. That's kind of what started happening yesterday with Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
It was like everybody who played alongside of him, I think, and played against him was like, hey, this guy, love him. And then immediately everybody's like, not all of it. Don't even start the Hall of Fame conversation. And by the way, I understand that's a society we live in, but it kind of stinks that that's immediately what everybody goes to. But by the way, you got to be pretty fucking good if that's a conversation that's happening immediately upon your retirement.
Yeah, I honestly thought Hines Ward was already in the Hall of Fame.
Me too,
just to be clear.
He won Dancing with the Stars. That was the parade.
Okay, that was the difference.
See, in my head, I had a Hines Ward parade.
2 Hall of Fames.
Where he was by himself.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's probably Hall of Fame. It was actually Dancing with the Stars he won. He had that parade.
Well, and either way, though, right? Like, you remember a Hines Ward, you're going to remember a Julian Edelman, whether he's in the Hall of Fame or not. And that's all you really want from a career, right? Is to be remembered.
Especially in New England.
Yeah.
We chatted about this off air a little bit. And that was, I think, last night as I was laying there thinking there, I was like, okay, got to talk for 3 hours tomorrow. All right, what are we going to talk about? Have to talk about Julian Edelman. Oh, okay, so now everybody's going to want to hear whether or not I think he's a Hall of Famer. And I'm like, I think he is a Hall of Famer. And then it was like, but if you say that, you're immediately saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's like, well, by the way, I'd put him in first ballot Hall of Fame.
Yes.
I don't think others will. The people that hold the Hall of Fame at a level that is so, by the way, that's their right to do so, the prestigious level of whatever. But for me, I think the Hall of Fame is a celebration of the game. And I think just like with Phillip Rivers, I think Phillip Rivers is somebody that the NFL should be like, we had this guy, he had 75 kids, never swore, played for blah, blah, blah. I think that is what the Hall of Fame is in my eyes. It's like a museum almost, like hey, this is what we have. I think Julian Edelman has done enough, in my eyes, to be remembered among the game's greats for the decisions and the plays that he's made in critical situations that will be played 20 to 30 years from now when he goes in and people will be like, holy, that catch.
Yes.
Yeah. That catch against the Falcons, absolutely insane. His punt returns, the highlights, the everything, the big third downs that had to be made.
Yes.
It was just like those moments, I think, are worthy enough of a conversation for him to be in the museum of the NFL at some point.
There was one play I saw, and it was a 3rd and 14 14 with 10 minutes left against the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl, and he gets destroyed by Cam Chancellor, but holds onto the ball first down on a 3rd and 14. It's just so many of those plays that you just forget about. The throw to Amendola against the Ravens. There's so many like little things like that where it's like you forget how awesome this guy was, but then you watch it again. It's like, okay, yeah, put him in the Hall of Fame immediately.
So Chuck Pagano used to say, listen, the game is a boxing match, okay? There's going to be a lot of jabs. There's going to be some of this. There's going to be a couple there. Here's a play. And then there's going to be a boom. Something's going to come. And the play doesn't know who or how it's going to be made. The play just needs to be made. Is it going to be on your side or on their side? Yeah. And it feels like some of those plays get forgotten about, where maybe a play happens in the fourth quarter, 10 minutes left. If it's not made, then all of a sudden this entire dynasty is potentially completely different. It feels like Julian has a lot of those plays throughout the thing. It's like the play that really made or changed this entire game, which potentially led to this entire narrative of the greatest dynasty in the history of sports, was made by this quarterback from Kent State here out of nowhere. I mean, it was just, I feel like there's a lot of those situations, which is why 20 to 30 years from now, when he's talked about, they will say all the things that we're saying, and he will get his spot in the Hall.
Do you think Brady being the quarterback and everyone saying like, well, you know, it's Edelman, but also he had Brady throwing him the ball. Like, do you think that hurts these guys like Welker even kind of?
Well, you got to think like Reggie, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
So Reggie is unbelievable, but Marv got in. Marv had Peyton. So I don't know. I think you have to have a great quarterback to be a great wide receiver.
Yeah.
I think it's Mark Schleyer said it the other day, kind of as a hater, by the way, of other positions, but he was like, no team has ever been one wide receiver away from winning a Super Bowl. He actually said 10 other people have to do their jobs incredibly well for a wide receiver even to get the ball or whatever. He was a hater, right? He's an offensive line guy. Yeah. He was hating about that whole thing. It's not 10, actually. It's probably just about 7, but that's a very valid point. There are a lot of depend upon positions in the sport of football, which is why it's the ultimate team sport. The quarterback has to depend upon the offensive line. Yeah. Wide receivers have to depend upon the quarterback, which has to depend upon the offensive line. There's so many things that have to go, but I think it's going to be hard to be a great wide receiver if you don't have a great quarterback.
Yeah, I'd agree with Schleyer, aside from the fact that the Packers were probably one wide receiver away last year from a Super Bowl.
Imagine if they had a little bit more depth.
Just one more.
Just a little bit more depth.
One more
Maybe
guy.
2, by the way. Hey,
sure.
Let's not get crazy. Especially with what the Buccaneers are doing down there. The Buccaneers just added Giovanni Bernard, who a lot of people have compared exactly to James White of the New England Patriots, even being the longest tenured running backs at the teams that they were at. And Tom Brady and James White had massive success together, checkdowns, short throws. Now the backfield for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is as such: Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, Giovanni Bernard.
Jeez.
That is to be added in with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Gronkowski, Tom fucking Brady, Cameron Brate in a retooled offensive line, an entire defense that's hot and just won a Super Bowl.
Scooty Miller.
Oh, Scott.
Come on.
Scoot, Scotty Miller. Completely forgot about that. And maybe probably Antonio Brown coming back as well. If you're a team that doesn't have weapons, you have to look at the top of the conferences and be like, holy shit, it's nice to have an absolute arsenal of talent around you. And Ty, I hate to go back to this, but it feels like the Green Bay Packers are capable of potentially keeping up with those teams, especially because the guy who's hosting Jeopardy still very well.
Yeah, still crushing it.
Still crushing it on Jeopardy. He can make any throw to anybody. The offense, LaFleur, feels like he knows the offense inside and out now at this point. You get 2-3 more weapons out there, 4 or 5 more weapons.
5, 6 more weapons.
You do whatever. You have to think like that, though, as a fan.
Well, and this is the thing about like this kind of stuff. It just reinforces that like the salary cap. I feel like that's such a shitty excuse. Like it's just an excuse to use when you're not doing stuff. Because look how many people, look how much money the Bucs didn't have any money, and they re-signed everybody. They brought everybody back. They found a way to do it. So whether it's they have a guy who is very good at manipulating the salary cap, right? I just feel like you can't sit back on that and use that as an excuse constantly when other teams are finding ways around it.
Well, you see Giovanni Bernard sign down there, and you go like, of course. This is like the old school Patriots.
Yeah.
When Bill Belichick would do something, it was like, of course. Now, like, if the Buccaneers bring somebody in or the Chiefs bring somebody in, they're like, of course.
Natural.
It's just like a natural turn of the tide of who's the big dog in the league and who isn't anymore. Now, granted, the Patriots have gone all in to try to make this thing work. Now, is Cam Newton going to be the guy all year? I guess that will be tested early, but they got a bunch of weapons up there. And I think Nick Saban and Bill Belichick realizing something about football is, as two OGs in football, old school football guys, them both realizing, like, hey, listen, it ain't about time of possession, defense, running the ball, field position. It ain't about, right now, it is about scoring. You need to score and hope your defense can get stops in critical spots. It's not like, it's almost like in basketball. For instance, Steph Curry just became the all-time leading scorer in Warriors history. Come on, Steph! Pass Wilt Chamberlain. Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
And he's potentially going to double the amount of points he has right now, too. So this run could become one that is just unattainable by everybody else, because Steph Curry absolutely changed basketball whenever he came in. In Golden State, to their credit, kind of were like, yeah, just do what you got to do. We're going to make this thing the Splash Brothers. We're going to get a bunch of shooters. We're going to stop shooting twos. Why are we shooting twos anyways? It's only worth 2 points.
Stupid.
There's another shot that's available. It's worth 3 points.
Yeah, come on.
It is just science here. It completely changed basketball. And I would assume that the thoughts playing against that Golden State team is like, hey, they're going to get theirs.
Yeah.
Okay, we just got to get some. It's almost like that in football now, too. It's like, hey, they're going to get theirs. We just got to get some crucial stops. Like in big moments, third, fourth quarter, we have to get some crucial stops. That's almost what football is becoming. Like, you can't expect your defense, and even though that guy for the Cowboys last year said, I ain't fucking running 80.
No way.
That guy is awesome.
Yeah.
He used his outside voice for an inside thought. And he wasn't the only one who thought that. But you can't expect your defense. I mean, maybe you can. Maybe there will be a defense that'll just come in, just dominate and win the entire thing. But your defense has to be a defense that's good, like the Colts defense, for instance.
Yeah.
Overtime. When they had to make a play, crucial stop, strip, how you doing, kick field goal against Packers. Like, that's what you need. You need playmakers on the defensive side of the ball, too, that in those big moments, in those crucial moments, will make big plays. And on the other side, you got to be able to fucking score. I think that is the sport of football right now. And if your team isn't doing that, it's like, okay, are you really even in the game anymore?
Well, and that's what's frustrating with the Packers, too, is like when you look at what they're doing, if they think that Rodgers' talent or whatever is slipping a little bit, then why wouldn't you bring in a couple guys to help him get back to whatever level you think he slipped from? And on the inverse, if you think he is just the one that's making these guys better and it doesn't matter, you can just plug and play there, then what the fuck are you doing, making him play on a year-to-year contract and just pissing him off?
Yeah,
can't have your cake and eat it too.
What the hell is going on over there?
I don't know, but I don't like it.
We get attacked by Packers fans whenever we talk about this. Oh, you sounding like everybody else. It's like, well, you know why everybody else is talking about it too? Because we all, see the same thing here.
Yes.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? I don't want it to happen. At all.
No.
Ty owns the team.
Kidding me?
Ty doesn't want it to happen either. But in the sports world we live in, contracts are maybe the most crucial thing in this entire game.
Fairly important.
They're maybe the most. This is, and this is sometimes why people hate professional sports, because of the contracts, and they're like, you guys don't even, it's not even love of the game anymore. It's like, you're right, actually.
No.
We do love the game, but this is a business. Okay, there's a $110 billion deal that was just signed by the other side here.
Yeah.
So once you tell them to stop acting like it's just love of the game, we'll stop acting like it as well. And then once you realize that, it is a business, this is a livelihood, this whole thing, it's like, okay, contracts are the next most important thing. And that one is not set up in a fashion where it's like, Aaron's going to be around a long time.
You see all these other guys who are getting paid exorbitant amounts of money, and it's like, well, hey, did that guy win the MVP last year? Is this guy as good as I am? I don't think so.
Let's get to a break.
Brady.
Let's get to a break. Yeah, Tom Brady goes down
Just
there.
happened.
They build an entire team around him. Bruce Arians now says he wouldn't be against drafting another quarterback, which means he said nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said absolutely nothing. But the Buccaneers were very clear. We're going to bring in a quarterback that's much older than Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to build this team to have success right now. We're going to build this thing around. Still working. By the way, fruits came from the labor. They won a Super Bowl. It is still building and going. It seems like other places aren't doing that. We'll talk to James Jones, former Green Bay Packer wide receiver, NFL Network analyst. An incredible conversation on the other side here. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Tuesday, April 13th. Hey! I'm up to something!
Welcome to Hammer Dad! Dad! The #1 sports gambling podcast coming out of the Pat McAfee Incorporated offices is now live 5 days a week at 4 p.m. Woo! With me and Bubba Gumpino and a host of a cast of characters and guests. We're going to try to get guests every single day. We'll be covering all the gambling knowledge that you need. MLB, NBA, football, footy. Anything else, pal?
Everything. Guess, baseball, basketball, footy. We'll even dive into NFL futures coming up. And most importantly, winners, Tony.
Winners, we are hunting winners every single day, live, 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. You can find us on our own YouTube channel. Search us, Hammer Don on YouTube. Coming to you live every single day, 4 p.m. Hammer Don!
I actually would have made more money the day I signed than my whole contract with Indy.
Oh, dude. Why did you decide to turn down a lot of money to come back to Indianapolis for the year?
True story, no bull. I prayed about it. By 3 o'clock, I'm signing somewhere. And then 2:55, I got on the phone with Chris. Like, are we going to get this done? Like, how can we get this done? He came up with a number, and I'm like, all right, it's all right. Well, I guess it's meant for me to go to this next team. As soon as I closed his message, Ursay texted me. I said, there go my sign right there. When he texted me, that's when we got it done. When he texted me, we got it done. Hey, did you see my eyes tweet yesterday?
Yeah, is that when you got the text from Ursay?
No, that was a text that I was almost gone.
Yeah, where are we going to go?
Hey.
Baltimore. You don't have to tell us, obviously, but I do believe Baltimore was in on something. Yeah. And then also the quarterback.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Yeah, come on, I'm a saying. I'm a hat of hair. Hey, over here. Welcome back to the show, I believe is what Marty Vicks just said in that song. That sounds absolutely unbelievable, named Manicky, I do believe. Joining us now can be found on Twitter at 89JonesNTAF. Never think about failure, I believe is what that stands for, via our last conversation, which was electric. Former wide receiver in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers is probably where you know him best, ladies and gentlemen, James Jones. Yeah! How are you, bub?
What's up, fellas?
Did I get that right? Never think about failure?
Never think about failure. You right on it, man.
I tell you what, because I had to find your Twitter real quick because I wanted to promote it or whatever, and I at 89JonesNTAF, and I was like, NTAF. I was like, oh, never think about failure. I remember it was like a beautiful, you went on like this entire run about it. Look, here I am. This is like almost like what, 6 months, 7 months later, remembering it. You're doing great work over there, James.
You're a smart dude, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm trying to be like you. That's it.
No. Listen, you're way better than I am, way smarter than I am. I think about failure a lot. Now, let's move along here. James, as we went into a commercial break before you joined us here, we were talking about how Giovanni Bernard just went down to Tampa Bay. And this continues a string of Tampa Bay loading up an arsenal of weapons. And then if you think about the top of the AFC with the Kansas City Chiefs, they have a loaded roster with talent. And then you can't help but think automatically about the Green Bay Packers where, listen, they have incredible skill position guys, great tight end. But I think at this point in the NFL, you have to be loaded at the skill position to win at this point because injuries could happen the way the offenses go. Do you agree with that or do you think I'm mistaken with that? And why don't the Packers do that?
100%, man. You're right on. You can never have enough good players. You play in this league long enough. You can never have enough good players. Injuries happen. And that's why you want to load up and you want to have all these good players just in case that happens. I mean, the year we won the Super Bowl in 2010, we lost 17 starters. But we knew the guys that was behind the starters could be starters. You know, we were stacked like that. We were loaded like that, and we did not miss a beat. And that is what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and teams like that who understand that the windows to win Super Bowls are not big. You have to win them while you can. So if you have the chance to load up to go try to win another Lombardi trophy.
I hate, and by the way, I love everything you just said, but I hate when people are like, well, is he the long-term answer? Is he the long-term answer? It's like, how long is long-term? Like, if you're going to win 2 Super Bowls in the next 4 years, is that long-term enough for you? Like, what do you know, like the window thing closing is real. And you have to know when you're in there and you have to attack, which is why I think all of us, and I would assume you're the same exact way as somebody who predicted Aaron was going to win the MVP last year, actually. All of us looking outside are like, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? You see Tom leave New England, older than Aaron, and you see Jason Light, Bruce Arians be like, hey, listen, let's do this thing. Drew Brees, you see the same thing, like, hey, let's go ahead and do this thing. With Aaron, it's like, if they don't do that, why? And if they do that, I think if you're a Packers fan, you should expect a lot of
things are doing around the NFL, man, and then you come to the Green Bay Packers, and you know they have a certain way of what they do. They like to draft and develop. That's how Ted Thompson was. Ted Thompson was a guy who loved to draft and develop, and he would rather see one of the guys he drafted and develop to get the opportunity than bringing in another big-time free agent. That's just the way they were built. These other teams, they're like, we don't care if we drafted you or not. If this dude is on the market, we are going to get him to load up. You know, so with Aaron Rodgers, you know, played at an MVP level last year, but we all understand that, you know, the end is coming. So with that being said, everything that he has done for your organization, load the team up for this guy to give him an opportunity to go win a couple Super Bowls before this thing is over, because you never know when he's going to call it. You never know when he might be out of Green Bay. You don't know. So load up and give this dude an opportunity to go compete with Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and those guys.
We're talking to James Jones, former wide receiver of the Packers, but also with the Raiders, Giants, and Chargers?
Yeah.
Okay. Good work back there, by the way. That was really good. We put that whole thing together. I started thinking about this yesterday because there was a stat that came out about the amount of money that was spent in free agency by Green Bay, and the idea has always been we're going to kind of build from within and do this whole thing. We're not going to spend money. After going to other places, do you think the fact that the Packers don't have an owner, like don't have one person that's like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that, do you think that is something that potentially is a little bit of a detractor from their potential success because there isn't, like for instance, what's his name, John, the Giants guy?
Mara.
John Mara, he came out and said, I'm sick of having to explain why we stink. So they started spending money. Robert Kraft was like, we stink. We're going to spend a lot of money. Yep. The Green Bay Packers, there's no real owner who's like, I'm tired of seeing this happen or this happen. I'm going to go do it. Do you think that's potentially a detriment? And I never thought about this while I was in the league. Only now that I'm a Packers fan, I'm starting to kind of think about it. From experience, do you think that's real or no?
Well, number one, it's a double-edged sword because the Packers have been winning. Have they been winning Super Bowls? No, but you have been in the playoffs consistently. You have been winning. So when you're sitting over there as a GM, even though we don't have an owner, you're looking like, all right, we've been winning. We've had great seasons. We've been in multiple NFC championships. Have we won Super Bowls? No, but what we're doing, we believe is working, and eventually we'll get to that Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So I think that's the Packers' mindset. Number two, when it comes to free agents, if I'm a free agent and I come to Green Bay and they offer me some good money and I get off that plane in Green Bay and see that there's absolutely nothing out there, and then I go to New York and they offer me the same money and I see everything that's out there when I get off the plane, it might be New York. So I do believe that some of these free agents get off the plane like, oh, shoot. I don't know if this is for me, Green Bay. It ain't really too much out here. Now, the guys that were drafted there is the best place in the world to play football. But we were drafted there. We didn't have no choice. We didn't look at any other cities. And then you fall in love with Green Bay because they do it the best way. It's an unbelievable place. So I do think it's hard to get free agents in there. Because when you talk about a free agent wide receiver, who wouldn't want to play with Aaron Rodgers?
That's
but when I get off the plane and I see what's in Green Bay and I get off the plane and I get to New York and it's like, oh, I wouldn't mind playing with Daniel Jones with all this out.
He's got big upside. He's got big upside. Right? I mean, there's things to do. Usually, people, if you're a free agent, if I'm the Green Bay Packers, I'm taking them right to the Oneida Casino. Taking them right to the Oneida Casino. I'm saying, hey, we got meetings tomorrow. You're just going to hang out here for the rest of the night. We'll see you tomorrow. I was there for 2 nights or whatever to call a game. I love the city, but you're right. When you get out there, there's a lot of like, oh, there ain't nothing. There ain't nothing around here. But then you get to like a town or a village or whatever, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. These people are very nice, very cool. But I didn't even think about that, by the way. I didn't even think about that. What do you have, Todd?
Yeah, James, we've talked to a couple people about wide receivers coming out and how it seems like they're ready to go quicker nowadays, but then people have also said that maybe it's just a good receiving class. Do you see any guys this year who you think are going to have an immediate impact? And do you think receivers nowadays are more ready to play and be successful in the NFL right away?
You know what I truly think is about the receiver going to the right situation. You know, those guys that are going to go high, you know, if you go to a situation where you're not with a good quarterback, it's hard for any receiver to play at a high level if you don't have a good quarterback. But a lot of these guys coming out of this draft this year, man, they are going to go into some very good situations. You know, you got Cincinnati who needs a wide receiver. You got the Dolphins who need a wide receiver who has very good quarterback play and is going to go into some very good situations to be able to have immediate impact. But my favorite guy in the draft right now, you know, Jamar Chase. But it's my favorite is Waddle from Alabama, man. This is a Swiss Army knife. He can do everything. I mean, he's an explosive kid. Whoever gets his hand on him, immediate impact, big-time player.
So, you know, Peacock. You know Peacock? You know Peacock, the network?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they have something when you sign up, it's like premium. And you think like, okay, that means I'm not getting the fucking commercials because it's premium.
Yep.
Then they actually have something else. It's like the up is like $4.99 more or something like that. It's even more. You got to pay for it. What you just did there is my favorite and then my favorite. I don't think you're allowed to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
my favorite is Waddle.
It does feel like these young guys, though, with Judy last year and Jefferson was unbelievable. And we asked Lane Kiffin about it, who's obviously at Ole Miss, been in the NFL, been in college. We said, do you think this is going to be a turn of the tide? And he's like, no, I just think some dudes are dudes. And it's just like there happens to be some guys. Do you think it's going to continue, or you think like we are just potentially in a little bit of a – because Devontae Smith, by all accounts, is probably going to be unbelievable. Waddle is going to be unbelievable. Jamar Chase is probably, I mean, it seems like all the Pitts, by the way, with the tight end, if we're going to get in there, it feels like all these guys are locks. Do you think that's just going to continue? Because back in the day, everybody's like, well, we don't know if he'll be able to make the transition. We don't know if he'll be able to understand the defense. We don't know that whole thing. It feels like now weapons, and it might just be the dudes, but it feels like maybe with the way the offenses have changed in the college football and the NFL is kind of similar now, there's a chance we could see a real birth, which might hurt free agent wide receivers, by the way, if there's more on the way, you know?
No, you're absolutely right, but I still feel like it's the same because it's a lot of guys still in our game that get drafted high, and we're like, man, oh shoot, he ain't really doing nothing. You know
this guy stinks.
Then there's some of the late round picks who find themselves in very good situations and they end up being ballers. But I just think Jamar Chase and Waddle have stuff that you cannot teach. It's stuff that you wake up out of the bed with, and it's just true natural ability, God-given ability that you cannot teach, and they're special players. Devontae Smith is as good as he is, winning the Heisman and all that. He doesn't have what those guys have. Okay. You know what I mean? So in my humble opinion, coming out of this draft, those are the two guys that I feel like no matter what situation they go to, they're going to be special players. Devontae Smith, in my humble opinion, needs to go somewhere where they got an established quarterback, an established coach system, and he'll get out there and ball and do his job.
Well, and we'll see if that happens or not. We're talking to Super Bowl champion wide receiver James Jones, formerly of the Packers, Giants, Raiders, and Chargers. The quarterbacks, you said Miami's going to be looking for a wide receiver, and they got a good quarterback down there. You're sold on Tua then? And how do you feel about these the current quarterback class that's coming out? A lot of fucking conversation about these guys right now, James. I mean, it is. Trevor Lawrence, nobody's talking about. He's got the playbook already from Jacksonville. Whoa. That's got to be against the rules. Whoa. Kick him out of the AFC South. Okay, that's got to be. But everybody else, it feels like this is potentially wide open. How do you feel about these younger quarterbacks?
Man, to be honest with you, everybody, and as you should be talking about Trevor Lawrence. But I think the best quarterback in this draft, when it's all said and done, is going to be Zach Wilson, man. I watched this dude, and I've seen his pro day, and the way he flicks this ball and the flick of the wrist and the arm angles he can throw this ball, it got Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers written all over him, man. And I just think that this kid right here, when it's all said and done, when their careers are over, we're going to be looking back, saying, quarterback in this draft. Even though Trevor Lawrence is the bona fide number one, got the playbook already from Jacksonville, this kid right here is special. And then you got Jones from Alabama, who I truly believe is a very good game manager. So if he could get to somewhere, I know everybody thinks the Niners are going to take him, but I think if he could get somewhere and he could sit behind a good veteran quarterback when it's his time, I think he'll be primed and ready to go. But it's a very good quarterback class, man, that you should be excited about. But I'm really excited about Zach Wilson, man. I think this kid right here is going to be absolutely special.
And the last time we talked to you, you talked about Aaron Rodgers hopefully getting a little bit of your swag or whatever. Zach Wilson loves the swag.
Oh, yeah.
He actually gave a full answer about swag and talked about Aaron's swag, which led to Aaron giving an answer about swag actually is your inner essence and how you own it. I mean, it was an entire thing that I think you were a part of, Zach Wilson was a part of. I like to hear that from you, though, because I didn't even think – you're talking about that off-balance pro day throw he made?
Absolutely. But even when you watch him play, man, when you watch him play at BYU, man, you see a lot of those throws show up, man. And like I said, that's just stuff that you cannot teach. Everybody trying to find a Patrick Mahomes and all that. He's not out there, man. This is stuff that you cannot teach these throws. And Zach has that written all over him, man.
Russell Wilson released a video. His social media team put together a video of him talking about to catch a wolf, the big bad wolf. I believe he's talking about Tampa Bay. You have to be a wolf to catch a wolf. And then it's him working out. And he actually, in that video, they put two of the Zach Wilson Pro Day throws with him in full pads in the video. It was like, oh, Russell Wilson's got a little pettiness in him. I like that out of Russell Wilson. What do you have, Connor?
Yeah, James, you played for the Giants, and it seems like for some reason in New York, the media is much harder on the Jets than they are on the Giants. Is that true, do you think? And also, do they put too much pressure on the players to perform immediately?
Well, I mean, it's very true, but, I mean, we're in a business that the only thing that matters is winning. And the Giants have done a little bit more winning than the Jets as of age. So I think, the Jets have put all that on themselves of what the product that they've put on the football field and not showing wins. So, that speaks for itself. So if Robert Saleh could come in there, man, and he could turn this stuff around, man, and put some wins on the board and the Giants is laying eggs, everybody will be looking like, man, they are killing the Giants. The media are on the Giants. So I just think it's all about which team is doing better out there. And the Giants over the years have been the better team in New York, man, and the Jets have been getting the bad end of the stick out there.
Hey, we went through a graphic yesterday that our graphic guy, Dirty Gertie, put together. 25 years of quarterback play for the Jets. Oh, man. Dude, it was so bad. And by the way, a lot of Jets fans reacted to our video of it, and they were like, listen, we had to live this, all right? There's no reason for you to go back. Look at this. These are the names of the quarterbacks with their records. Vinny Testaverde, he had a 31-17 record. Get him the hell out of here, though. Need him gone. There's been a couple in there that win, but everybody basically loses over there. Maybe it's just the organization. Do you think there's you've said this a couple times now with wide receivers and with quarterbacks going to the right. Do you think there's just some organizations that are just set up for failure from jump? And why? And why, though?
That's a very good question. But I do, because when you look at the Jets, you're looking for this quarterback, you're looking for this guy to come in there and just turn your organization upside down. But as we know, man, it's a team game. You need defense. You need people that can stop people. You need guys on the outside that can run routes. You need to be able to protect your quarterback. So when the quarterback comes into the Jets, man, it's going to take time. You have to build a defense around him. You got to get weapons around him for him to even have a shot. A lot of these rookie quarterbacks come on some of these teams, even though they're not very good teams, at least they have very good players on the defensive side of the ball or very good receivers and things like that to be able to help them out. The quarterback coming into the Jets, he doesn't really have a lot of help, man, and it's been like that for a very long time. I mean, Mark Sanchez had a very good defense, and he was able to put together some wins and get them to some AFC championships. But them other quarterbacks didn't have a lot of help, man. So whatever quarterback they draft or bring in, you better make sure you give him some time and build some help around the man to help the kid out.
Yeah, he's going to have to survive to make some of those off-balance throws you were talking about that not a lot of people have. Joe Burrow almost died last year in Cincinnati. I mean, that was his. We've said this a couple times. There's no indoor facility there. His head on that one hit, the body completely moved, and his head stayed the same. It was
24 inches.
I've never
Scary.
And then he got back out. Yeah. Then he got back on the field. I'm like, this dude. And they're like, yeah, he likes to feel that hit. It's like, you know what? I don't like him. I don't like him doing that. What do you have, Ty?
James, when you talk about these young quarterbacks coming into the league and they're trying to develop like a chemistry with the receivers, like how long did it take you and Aaron to get that type of rapport where it felt like you were just on the same page? Because he always had the back shoulder throws with you and Jordy. Like at what point did you realize like it was almost unspoken and you guys kind of just knew what the other one was looking to do?
You know, it took about 4 years for me to look at Aaron and know exactly what Aaron was thinking, man. You know what I mean? A lot of these teams and organizations and young guys think like, oh man, we have a training camp and a couple practices and our chemistry is there. No, you need way more time than that. Going into my fourth season is when I really knew that, man, me and Aaron are locked in. We are on the same page. I could look at him and know exactly what he's thinking. And one play always comes to mind, man. We were playing the Denver Broncos at home, and we had a red zone post on. And when you're in the red zone, that we call the red zone in Green Bay 25 and in. So when you're in the red zone, you must cross the DB's face. You know, if you don't cross the DB's face, you're putting the quarterback in harm's way. If he throws that ball, it's going to be picked off. So during that route, the DB was so far inside, I'm like, man, there is no way that I'm going and crossing this dude's face. Because, number one, I know I ain't going to get the ball. Number two, I'm going to be looking to my family like, man, he out there getting jammed up. Look at this dude. I'm like, I can't,
yeah, it's going to be like a 2-yard
like that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have an MA. I'm going to mess my assignment up, but I'm going behind him. And I went behind him. And as I look back, the ball was coming right behind, dude. Maybe the greatest throw I've ever seen Aaron throw to me. The ball was coming right behind him. And I caught the ball for a touchdown. And as I was jogging back, I'm looking at him like, man, my bad. He was like, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. You know what I mean? And right then and there, I'm like, oh, shoot, we are really locked in on the same page because in practice, 24/7, all Coach Mike is screaming, you must cross his face. And at that moment, me and Aaron was like, not on this one.
Can't do it. Aaron's sitting there. Aaron's like, scary ninja. Okay, then he looks over, he sees you, and he's like, well, James's family's going to think he's a punk if he goes in front of there. All right, so let's just go.
100%. We cannot have that. we cannot have that, man. But no, it took us about 4 years to where, like, on certain plays, Aaron could look at me twice, and I know exactly what he's thinking.
Okay, so this will be the last question. We can't thank you enough for joining us, by the way, James. You're always great on this show, and we appreciate that from you.
Not a problem, man.
The thought of the no OTAs, I guess the NFLPA's head is saying, like, we'll boycott them because they're voluntary, which never, ever will work, okay? People will show up, people will go, and then other people will look bad. Then it'll become a media circus. I mean, that's just, we all see how it's going to happen here. This is just, it's very easy to see what's going to happen. And you're acting very naive if you think that's not going to happen. But with that being said, maybe an attack on off-season training. That means to build up that chemistry okay, that you talked about that took you 4 years, there's going to have to be a lot of quarterback wide receiver initiative then in the offseason, which some guys have, some guys maybe don't. But how do you think guys are going to be able to build that with the lack of practice time potentially in the facility and things like that? It all has to happen off the field. And then are you maybe looking at a quarterback to see how much they would be potentially doing that, because that is going to be a massive deal to the success of your offense in the end?
Number one, I'm not playing anymore, so it's easy for me to say, you know what I mean? Y'all need OTAs.
Hey, go to OTAs. Hey, by the way, 17 games. Hey, this is awesome. This is awesome.
100%. So for me, the veterans, it's not going to hurt them at all. Like you said, sometimes we come to practice, sometimes we don't. OTAs is voluntary, but for the rookies, I always think back when I was a rookie, if I didn't have OTAs to get the playbook, to get all the checks, to understand what the quarterback is thinking, how to run routes and all that type stuff, and then I come into training camp and I do not have to learn the playbook anymore. I'm just hitting the ground running, showing them my ability. That's who it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the rookies who don't have that OTAs and that offseason training, because now you have to come into training camp. And listen, you could go and throw with these quarterbacks at Hamilton High School all you want. But once you get in live bullets and this defense is coming at you and guys is moving again, it's totally different. You know what I mean? It's not routes on air. This is totally different in here. You know what I mean? So you have to adjust on the fly and have that chemistry with the quarterback on the fly, and you're not going to get that unless you are in practices. And without OTAs, you're taking all that stuff out of the equation, and I truly think that it's going to hurt the rookies. It's not going to hurt Devontae Adams. It's not going to hurt Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. Them dudes is locked in on the same page. But for the Jamar Chases and the Devontae Smiths and those guys coming in, they need that, man. They need to get in there with their quarterbacks, get in some live bullets, get into some situations, and go out there. And when training camp comes, they already been through it, and let's go ball out.
And by the way, that is where the entire conversation is going to be. All the rookies are going to be there. They're going to put pressure on it's going to become a scene. But, hey, we ain't got to fucking worry about it. We are retired. Ladies and gentlemen, from the NFL Network, you can follow them on Twitter at the number 8, the number 9, Jones, NTAF. Never think about failure. We can't thank you enough, ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl champion James Jones. Thank you.
Appreciate it, brother.
Hey, thank you. He's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's awesome. He's on NFL Network. What do they have him? What's he do? He just pops in on all the shows?
I think so. I know last year during the season he would do some of the post game stuff on Sundays and
Thursday too. Didn't I see him on Thursday?
I think so.
One point?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's good.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and he thinks Zach Wilson's the guy. The Jets might be, turned around here coming.
Pretty interesting stuff there. Talking about the off-balance throws and everything. Because remember, going into the Mac Jones second pro day, it was like, after the Zach Wilson throws, Mac's going to make some off-balance throws. Yeah, he's going to show that. And James Jones saw it and was like, yeah, maybe. But they ain't like that Zach Wilson kid who's a lot like Aaron, a lot like Patrick, a lot like Russell Wilson.
Yeah, glowing praise.
Which,
I assume Trevor Lawrence does too. Does he not?
I would assume so. And otherwise, Zach Wilson would be going one.
And why did we not see this? We rely upon the draft pundit people.
Yeah.
Yes.
To give us a little bit of a fucking heads up on who we should be watching.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know this Mormon kid existed. I had no idea he existed.
Me neither.
I saw that BYU team go out there and just start boat racing teams.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Saw him have the headband, gave a couple interviews. I'm like, okay, this guy's a guy. And then they still weren't talking about him being a guy in the draft or anything. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just was like, this is a guy. It was like, all right.
Guess we got a guy.
I didn't know. I thought Justin Fields was the guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know this guy was the guy, but I wish we would have given him a heads up a little bit earlier. Trevor Lawrence, by the way, getting the playbook, already retaining things and talking like a Jaguar is what the quote said. Kick him off the tour, Doug.
Yeah. That is not fair.
Kick him off the tour, dude. Get him out of the AFC South.
Tampering or something.
It has to be.
Jeez.
NFL Network's Rap Sheet is reporting, Ian Rappaport, that the Jaguars have given Trevor Lawrence playbook for the fall, seeing what he likes. He's already talking and retaining information like a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars, says Ian Rappaport, by way of Mia O'Brien TV. So, that's illegal.
He's not a Jaguar yet.
That's not fair.
It's unbelievable. Let's get some phone calls.
He didn't even do an off-balance throw.
Let's go to Ben and Feet. He didn't, did he?
No. You think if he does his pro day later on and sees everybody else doing off-balance, he's like, hey, Jordan, we got to work in a couple off-balance throws here because my draft stock is dropping.
He's not doing another pro day. Let's go to Ben in Phoenix. What's going on, Ben?
What's up, boys? How we doing?
Hey, not too shabby. Not as good as the people of Arizona, though, huh, Ben?
Yeah.
Let's go!
Let's go!
Yeah!
As of today, I believe Arizona has passed a bill legalizing sports gambling both in stadiums. Okay, that's going to be a blast.
Okay.
If I can go watch the Cardinals and bet on that son of a bitch like it's the Derby, and if that's what the future looks like, I am here for it. 20 online operators will be allowed in the state of Arizona. Those are called skins, by the way. So 20 skins will be given out for online operators. Let's assume FanDuel, we don't know, but let's assume FanDuel is going to be in there. Yeah. That information's coming via at Round Hill Investments. Ben, we cannot wait to hopefully take all of FanDuel's money together. Yeah! Woo! That's right, Ben.
Listen, I wanted to ask if there was some sort of like crash course or FanDuel for dummies for us rookies, because I enjoy listening to you guys talk about it, but to be honest, half the time I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know the vocabulary and all that shit, so I was wondering if you guys had anything for me.
Okay, Ben, so there's a gambling podcast that comes out of here that is daily live at 4 p.m. called Hammered Down. They do talk a little bit more of a mature conversation, but I want to let you know, as soon as you get on the FanDuel app, it is so easy and so like it's kind of like you'll go through it, you'll start to understand it. My wife, okay, not a big sports fan. She loves football, but overall sports and everything like that. Didn't know anything about gambling because there's 0 Italians in Indiana. So she literally knew nothing about this. She has gone on to FanDuel and has mastered it. It'll be a very easy process, Ben, and it makes every single sporting event better. And obviously there's going to be people that abuse it. Please don't do that. Only bet within your means. But it is awesome. It is great for sports. It's great for Arizona. And I've absolutely loved our venture into the gambling on every single sport thing. I've had to take a pause for a couple days.
There's nothing better.
Nothing better.
Especially when FanDuel's, handing out $1 million bags to people who bet on that.
2 of them, I think.
Yeah.
Did they give out 2? Yeah. I think there was 2. I don't know. There was definitely
they were
one.
giving out another one. I don't know if they've done it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a good time. Welcome to the family, Arizona. It is great to have you. I'm pumped up about that. I believe Uncle COVID is going to expedite some sports gambling things in states much faster than any of the world could have predicted. So that might mean if you're potentially negotiating a sportsbook deal, you should hold. Because how the forecasts were being predicted about what states were going to come on when, I believe a lot of them have changed because of potential income losses because Uncle COVID was a scumbag.
Yeah. Being in stadium, too, can you imagine, watching J.J. Watt yell at the defense and then going up to the book? All right, I need J.J. Watt to have a sack on the next drive.
Yeah, you watch him come out, he's playing catch and warm-ups. It's like, J.J.'s...
This guy.
He's going to throw a touchdown today.
He's ready.
Kyler Murray's skipping on the field. Give me to the booth. Yeah. Hour 1's wrapping up here. We'll be back on the other side in the second hour. We have Tom E. Curran of NBC Sports Boston talking Julian Edelman and some of your phone calls. 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. This is the Pat McAfee Show. We'll see you in 6 minutes. Did you hear everything that was being said whenever you were potentially...
Just from you.
Oh, so you did hear it. Yeah. Okay, so let's address it.
Hold on.
All right.
You can be a hater.
No.
You can change.
Carson.
You can change. We can change.
No, at the moment I was at, Carson. With the Daily Show, the live Daily Show, we can potentially get referred to as prisoners of the moment. You probably did hear me say some things. That was at a much different time.
Backtrack with it.
No,
it's cool. We're here face to face. You can change. People change, all right?
By the way, you are much bigger than I thought you were. When Jalen gets drafted there, was that the beginning of it all? Was there a miscommunication? What happened between you and Doug? Because they were saying it was fractured beyond repair.
Yeah.
What happened there? Is all of that accurate? Is that all kind of getting blown out of proportion?
Yeah.
And where did it start?
For one, I don't like to ever come out and say reporters aren't telling the truth because I don't. But
Orlovsky does it.
I'm not. I'm not going to dispute every report that's out there. The way the season went obviously wasn't ideal. When Jalen was drafted, that had no bearing on me. I trusted the organization. Okay. I signed that contract. I was devoted to them, and I felt like they were devoted to me. So I trusted the pick. That had no bearing on my confidence or my abilities. The season unfolded not how I would have liked it. Personally, I could have played better. We lost a lot of games at the end and just didn't fall into place the way we wanted. But there's a lot to learn from it, as a man, as a player, and all those things. And I have still a lot of respect for Coach Peterson, and I think without a doubt those reports are very exaggerated. Like I said, I don't hear a lot of them. They come to my attention from my agents or different things.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of respect for him, and it was unfortunate for everybody and how the whole thing kind of just went down.
There was a couple still shots that made its way around where you and Doug Peterson appeared to be giving each other a nasty look.
I saw those.
It's not true.
Not true at all.
Oh, you were not saying, I wish you died. With your
I don't even think I was looking at him in those shots. So I did see that. I'm like, of course, they're going to play this one up. They're going to make a story out of anything. That's how it is. So, but yeah, that's not true at all.
Okay, so I'm happy to hear you weren't giving Doug Peterson death looks. Like, you never thought, like, oh, football isn't for me. Like, there was never a thought where I don't like football anymore. Or I don't want to be in this bullshit league anymore with this business. There was never a thought like that?
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. The way the season went, I mean, it was frustrating. And
People
so
have those
that's why I stepped away, and it almost rejuvenated me. It's almost like last year pissed me off so much. I want to come back in a different way and do everything I can. I am thrilled to be here and to have this new start, new opportunity. And the community seems amazing. The fan base seems amazing. Like we said, it seems like the perfect fit.
We have no idea how to do the subway system, but Zeke is doing the direction, the directing, the mapping, the planning.
Well, my tower is in 10 minutes. That train should be ready. He knew his shit. He said it's going that way. This is Zito guided tour. We're not going to get spot on the train. Get on an This was a bad idea. This was a bad decision. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Are we on the right way to Yankee Stadium right now? To the Bronx.
I don't like that hesitancy.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
New York it's a bit much. There's shit everywhere. It smells like shit. There's a lot of people, but it's a hell of an industry out here,
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. We the one. Out of the darkness I rose up. Gold in my soul, it's a gold rush. Yeah. Honor and freedom, my toes up. Kicking game on the snare drum. Hard on the beat, let it bleed out like sacrifices. Cut it open, emotions. Spilling like oil and coasting. Therapy for my mental, I'm pinning a pistol and shoot down the criticisms individually. I heard the voices that told us. Throw dirt on my name and wish me the worst and stole us. Shot through the heart and pray on my downfall. But yes, he prevailed on my own. Stay on top of the chest like Olympic gold. Rapids move on the field like a jazz song. Witness greatness, look up in LeBron home. Remember next time for you doubt us. That only made me go.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show. Hour 2 here on SiriusXM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio and YouTube.com/The Pat McAfee Show will begin immediately following this beat drop from Twine. A lot of words, got them in. Here we go. The Hammer Down Boys have joined us at Bubba Gumpino and Tone Diggs. How'd the gambling go, Tone? I saw you hit for a bunch of unders yesterday on baseball. How we feeling about it?
Big under night. Unders were 4-0. The show did well. I think Nick was 5-1 or 6-1 or something like that.
So is Hammer Down just printing money for people right now?
As of right now, and I love when people send us the winning tickets. We'll tweet them out. We'll show everybody else how much they're missing.
Yeah, it's a smart idea, by the way. You got to absolutely let people know who's winning what from where. At Bubba Gumpino, first 5 baseball still treating you well, or have you gone a little cold?
1 and 2 last night.
Oh, no, you're so hot. Oh, no.
2-0 in footy yesterday, though. We got Champions League today. It's cooking.
Greatest footy gambler on the planet at Bubba Gumpino. All the boys are here at Boston Connor, Ty Schmidt, the boys in the back. We appreciate everybody. Viva Lazito is on vacation. Hope he's enjoying. Hey, miss you, Z.
Miss you, Z.
Okay, let's get some phone calls, shall we? Hear what the people have to say.
Yeah. Come on.
Let's go to Ryan in California. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, what's going on, Pat and the boys?
Hey, not too shabby. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. It's a beautiful day out here in California.
Hey, I've heard that is the thing out there now. There is good weather, I've heard. I've heard the sun does show up there. The thing about living where we live, the sun will go into hibernation for 6-7 months.
Just about.
I heard that doesn't happen out there in California, and good for you guys. But we're starting to get a little bit of the sun as well, starting to experience a little bit of your everyday life. What do you want to talk about, Ryan?
Hey, I'm just trying to want to see if you can share some of your insight on what that genius over there in Indianapolis, Chris Ballard's going to do.
Well, I do not know, Chris Ballard and I do not know. I feel like I did ask him, if he'd come on the show, and he said, let me get through the draft stuff. And I'm like, yeah, actually, good idea, because right now he wouldn't tell us anything. You got to remember, none of these GMs are going to tell the truth, it feels like.
Yeah.
I think even Joe Douglas said, everybody knows what we're doing. It's like,
And then
do we?
Yeah.
Do we not know, Joe? What are you? You trade away Sam Darnold. We assume you're going to get a quarterback. You're number 2 overall. You've had months and months and months to think about this. We'd assume you know what you're doing. Hey, everybody knows what I'm doing. It's like, okay. Whoa. And then there's a narrative going out there. Not a lot of people have reached out to the Jets for a potential trade. It's like, well, are the Jets letting that out there to let the people know that you could potentially trade for it? What the hell is going on over there? They don't have a quarterback on the roster, I don't think.
Yeah, it's just a big poker game, but you got to hope that the Colts, like we just talked about, load up in weapons. Yeah, go get a wide receiver who's going to make an impact immediately and help out T.Y.
We need a weapon out there.
Yeah.
We need it. Carson's ready to play football good.
Yeah.
There's
So Carson
guys.
is ready.
There's so many.
Let's go to John in Wisconsin. What's going on, John?
Pat and the boys, what's up? Let's go.
Hey, John, let's
Come
go.
on,
What do you want to talk about?
Dude, first time caller. I can't believe I got through. I love you guys.
Oh, we appreciate you, John. Welcome to the show. Love you too. What do you want to talk about, dude?
2 quick questions. One, my dogs are wondering how your dogs are doing. Jay and Pat, how are they doing?
Okay, thank you for asking. Chuck, still stubborn, will poop in the house still at his stage of life. I think this is something that's going to happen forever whenever he doesn't want to get his little corgi legs wet in the grass.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because he's also become a little bit obese, so his gut just kind of drags against it. So if there's any weather at all, he will not go outside because, he does come from the royal family of animals. He's a corgi. Now, we've been watching the in-laws have a Chihuahua Pomeranian, a Chai Palm.
Ooh.
Okay, named Albert. I've never seen an animal this small. It is like they took an actual dog and shrunk it. The miniature sized dogs is a real thing. It's smaller than the 3-legged forever kitten we have named Scootsy, this little dog. Okay. Wow. It came up a little bit lame on its leg yesterday. I have no idea what happened. Could have been anything. It could have fell off a potential, like chip almost. Yeah. Like how small it is. It could have potentially, but that thing is awesome. I love that dog. I assume I'm gonna get one of them little tiny dogs at some point in my life, but not right now. Valerie has the cone off. She's going to need one more procedure, though, and then they think it'll be all good for her canine cancer that she's been battling for about 6 months at this point. But without the cone on her head, she is a very happy dog. Thank you for asking, Ryan. What else is your second question?
Regarding, I know you don't like talking baseball, but Regarding the Pittsburgh Pirates, I mean, besides Texas, obviously limited fan capacity, you think the Pirates have a huge advantage this year because they're used to having only limited fans in the stands?
That's a great call, but PNC Park still brings the fans out.
Beautiful ballpark.
People would actually go to the stadium not to watch the sport, but just to sit in the park or whatever. Pirates stink. They're going to stink with fans or without fans. That's just how it goes. We understand that at Pittsburgh, and it's hard to talk baseball because mostly it stinks. All right, let's go to Tori in Arizona. What's going on, Tori? Baseball.
Hey, Pat and the boys, how you doing today?
Do you think I potentially have a much different view on baseball if we grew up around like the Yankees or something? I would assume yes.
If your team was good.
Could you imagine the celebrations? I mean, we used to tailgate for these stupid Pirates games and have the time of our lives and literally go in and just say, there's no chance we're going to win. And then if they did, it was like, holy hell, what a day. I think if we were at a place where maybe they were a good baseball team, probably would have enjoyed it.
Slightly less jaded for sure, but I don't think you're sitting through 9 innings of baseball night.
That's why these first 5 bets are maybe the best things I've ever seen.
I mean, we went to that Yankees-Twins playoff game, 2 years ago, and we stayed for 7 innings, and it was awesome.
And we were supposed to leave earlier than that because we had to go to something rather large at Madison Square Garden, and we were like, I can't leave. It's actually a good time. I mean, that was a blowout.
Yeah, it was. The Yankees hit a grand slam early, and I mean, so it was. There were a lot of runs, but that was, we stayed for 7 innings. I would have figured we were out of there after 3.
Giuliani and I pissed next to each other.
Really?
Yep.
Rudy.
Yeah, didn't wash his hands, just kind of walked out. He had security around him.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of people accosting him. I assume he had hand sand or whatever.
I'd hope so.
It was a quick in and out experience with me and Giuliani.
I think the Pirates would be better if their players weren't out like boozing until 5 a.m. the day before a game.
Now I do. What was that guy's name?
AJ Burnett.
He was awesome.
Legend.
Yeah, David Wells threw a perfect game on the biggest hangover of his life.
And then who was the guy tripping balls?
Doc Ellis.
Yeah. That whole thing. Maybe they should be doing
That's
a little
what
bit more.
baseball players do.
AJ Burnett. Is CC Sabathia have a good time? Is that what?
I believe he has a pretty good time.
AJ Burnett, though, he and I, I think he and I, that's so where everybody goes through whatever they got to go through. I hope he's all right. But me and AJ Burnett, because the reason why Connor brought that up and then tried to step all over it and move along to a different story, just bringing it up for no reason, is me and I think AJ Burnett, we shut down a bar in Pittsburgh together. And then the next night I went to the game, and it was the guy's bobblehead night. And he was starting. And I had never been more impressed with something in my life. I was like, oh my, that's the
guy.
He was in bad shape. Because we were having a good time together. I think he won, by the way. Got the bobblehead, got it out of there. I think baseball would be better if more of those stories.
Those were the good years, too.
Yeah, the Pirates are winning.
He was there for the good years.
Yeah, it was a fun time. I was like, here we go. I literally walked in, and I looked at the bobblehead. I was like, I think this is the guy.
I was with this guy last night.
And then they jogged out onto the mound or whatever, and I was like, that was the guy. Hey, that was the guy. We were with him, 12 hours ago, it seems like. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it was a day game?
No, but we went.
Yeah.
I mean,
to the wee hour.
I mean,
you down a strip, or no? You're down a
Station Scare. Yeah, we're down on Station Scare, Buckhead Saloon. Yeah, it's exactly where we were. Yeah, it was awesome. They used to close that place up early, too, every once in a while. But when A.J. Burnett was in there...
He was filthy, too. He got paid a couple times by the Blue Jays and the Yankees after that.
He was awesome. And I'm not 100% sure if it was him. So this is just our estimation that it was him because we've tried to match up the years that this potentially happened with bobblehead nights. That's literally how we had to do it. Because, once again, I thought Pirates... I'm not a fan, so I didn't really know who it was. And they were like early morning. I was like, who is this guy? Oh, shit. The ace. All right. Here we go. I'm starting to know why. He threw mud the next day.
Oh, I'm sure. He was a gamer.
Tori, what do you got, pal?
Hey, Pat, boys. It's been a hell of a week, and it's only Tuesday. I know yesterday you guys proclaimed we have officially defeated COVID. And today in Arizona, we're simply waiting for the governor to sign a bill to legalize the sports gambling.
Congratulations, Tori. What a time. Woo! 2020 carried itself into 2021 there early. And there's still obviously things happening in the real world and all that stuff, but it feels like there is some, light at the end of the tunnel at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I hope so, by the way.
Just trying to be hopeful.
With what Roger Goodell said, full stadiums, and Jonathan Kraft coming out and saying, we think with 2 weeks after the vaccination, blah, blah, blah. We thought that whole thing,
Yeah.
What if they're all wrong?
As long as it's not the Johnson & Johnson.
Exactly.
Well, I heard you're not supposed to take the single dose because out of allegedly where we read at 6.8 million people have taken it.
Yep.
6 people have had situations. 6 people have six people have had situations that have popped up. Yes.
Single digit. Not 6,000?
Allegedly. Listen, I'm not getting into this. I don't know all the numbers, and who knows if our sources were even accurate when we were starting to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I think what had happened is the Johnson & Johnson single one did create some issues that nobody really saw coming in, a few people that potentially got it.
So 6 out of 6.8 million had
What's
a
that?
problem.
It might have been a lot more than that. It might have actually been 8.
8 people.
Yeah.
So
Well, that would be 33% more.
Yeah.
Which is a large percentage.
Yeah. I don't want to say it, but let's take a look at this denominator.
Okay.
Come on.
Get Haji on.
Okay, let's go to Joe. Let's go to Joe in Jersey. Can't do it. Joe, what's going on, pal?
Call Merrill.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing today?
Well, all right. I mean, we're okay at this point. Literally, we're okay at this point, but I mean, Jesus. Let's go. What do you want to talk about? Well, I mean, we're doing better than if we were to take the Johnson & Johnson. No. What do you want to talk about, dude? What do you want to talk about,
I just want
Joe?
to start out by saying this show stinks.
It does. And at this point, more so than most times. That's why we're trying to get you to save us. What's going on, pal?
You hit on it a little bit yesterday. You guys were talking about officiating, trying to bring back Carey, other guys like Gene. And I think that we need to fix up most problems with calls and games and just get rid of the old whites completely. Get them out. Let's bring in young people. They can keep up with the speed of the game. They have better eyesight for sure. Just fucking get the old
Okay.
Young people don't want to be refs, pal, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people signing up to be refs, I don't think, anymore. And those that are good. But the ageism.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a very big hater of the old whites, but we got to make sure that whenever we say old whites, it's not all older whites. There is a specific breed of old white. We all know what we're referring
You've seen
to.
them. You know.
We all know. Get them out.
Get them out.
Let's go to Travis in Kansas City. What's going on, Travis? Is this Kelsey? What's going on, man? Congrats on the reconfiguring of your
Teammate of the year.
Thank you, Travis.
What's going on, pal?
Hey, what's going on, bud? How y'all doing?
Hey, just hanging out, man. What do you want to talk about?
First of all, PSA, take your vitamins. But
bingo.
I want to talk about UFC fighter Julian Marquez calling out friend of the show Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes to a badminton/pickleball match.
Okay, got to talk about that. You're right. And by the way, that guy cut a great promo. I'm the baddest man in Missouri, he said. This is my time. I just won. I love it. Own it. You just beat somebody up in a cage in front of a lot of people. I didn't know how we got to the pickleball or badminton, but you know what? I'm going to side with the guy that can knock somebody's head off. I'm going to just because if I take Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce's, which is logical reasoning, you would think they would win in this whole thing. You potentially end up in a double armbar, get both your arms broken.
Yeah, fair enough.
So cheer for that guy.
Yeah, but you got to do a little bit of research. I mean, have you seen what Patrick Mahomes does with those bags in that State Farm commercial? What do you think he's doing on a fucking pickleball court or a badminton court?
Well, I think this guy has done his research. That's why he took his moment to kind of call them out. Normally people call fighters and other things like that. He goes, listen, here's the deal. I've been looking at the film Showtime, Patrick Mahomes, okay? He's a $500 million man. I've seen Tyreek Hill run around. Travis Kelce, what a player, okay? I ain't got shit on my pickleball game. I love it. Take your shot, shoot your shot. What is pickleball?
I think it's mini tennis.
Yeah,
there you go.
Or bigger ping pong, whichever one.
Found
you
out
want.
about it a couple years ago and still been dying.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn fun.
Bigger ping pong?
You're standing on the table, but the table's bigger.
There you go.
I thought that was tennis.
It's like
it's even smaller.
It's like a multi-purpose court, and then I think the net is like at maybe your waist or maybe a little bit lower.
It's like tennis with a ping pong paddle.
Oh, so it's a ping pong paddle you're holding? Like a
It's
pad?
a little bit bigger than that.
Kind of looks like those paddles you hit the ball back and forth with on the beach.
Oh, like a wooden paddle. Yep. So hold on, there isn't the spin of like my top spin.
I think it's rubber ball, so it's a little bit tougher to put some spin on it.
But you can. I mean, I definitely think.
Are
you'd be
people
able
hitting
to.
the shit out of it?
Oh yeah, you can absolutely blast forehand. You'll have people come up and like volley, play at the net and just fucking put them away.
Do you bounce serve like ping pong or is it like tennis serve?
Believe it's like tennis.
Yeah, I think it's a tennis serve.
Okay.
It's a great game.
How you doing at ping pong, Go?
Love ping pong.
How you doing it?
I'm looking at pictures here. It looks sweet.
I mean, you're pretty good right now. I told you the other day. I mean, I don't think I've been playing bad. I think you're just on another level right now.
I'm a wagon right now.
Yeah, really. I cannot fucking win a game right now.
Yeah, it is difficult for Dobby to get going.
Ever since that one day we had that Wimbledon, I mean, we've had some battles lately. I just can't get over the hump.
It is.
He's pain. He's
I'm
painting,
playing the game.
Do you think that's because you've been going strictly rights on Oculus Boxing and it's almost working on your serve?
I am going in there at post boxing, so I am a little bit tired. I like to, have a little bit of adversity whenever I'm stepping up to the ping pong table in there. But it feels like it's actually been helping me going in there warmed up with that whole thing. I'm off the table now a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It took me a little bit to adjust because I was an on-table overhand right power hitter. It's taken me a little bit to adjust backing up, but now the backhand and the forehand are both pretty dialed in. Because the real-life ping pong, which I probably would do in this pickleball, I actually transfer paddle to left hand, to forehands. How are you going to beat that? Difficult. A lot of people can, actually, to be honest with you. But then in the Oculus, you can't because it's attached. You have to have a backhand. I'd never had a backhand before in my life. Literally just worked on the 2 forehand thing. Thought it was a cheat code in the entire game. Now you get into virtual reality, like you have to work your backhand. I've gotten to the point where I think I've sharpened the axe to a point where I feel pretty good about it.
If you set that table low too, because you are a power hitter, it might change the game completely.
I like to keep it a little bit realistic.
Well, what's the point of that? Well,
because if I'm going to get into one of these Oculus, for instance, the reason why it's a 3-point NBA line out there is because there's zero chance of me going back and playing in a college game. Okay. There is a good chance I'm going to end up in the NBA celebrity game at some point. I want to be very comfortable from the deep 3. Okay. So I'm preparing for that moment. I'm not going to prepare for some tournament that I'm potentially going to win at a table that's nowhere near legal or legit.
This isn't Mickey Mouse.
This isn't fucking Mickey
Mouse.
Virtual reality.
Don't disrespect.
What's the point of using a backhand? Because in a real match, you're changing hands anyways.
Well, you have to adapt and overcome. What we're saying is you don't change the fucking rules.
But what I'm saying is,
what are you playing?
Oculus
put it on the floor? What are you dancing on? Is it pickleball on a ping pong table?
I wish, but in this ping pong, in the VR Oculus, you're using a backhand. You're never going to use a backhand in a real match.
You stink.
It's Mickey Mouse is what you're proposing.
You're cheating.
Not at all.
Let's go to admit you're cheating.
No, I'm trying to win.
Wait until 11 puts on one of these tournaments where there's money on the line, and you're going to be all trained up. You're going to go in there, and first game, they're like, you got to raise your table, pal.
And I'm going to say, well,
what are you 9 foot tall?
I was in the rule book.
Are you 9 foot tall, sir?
Where's the rule book?
We're not playing sitting down.
My Oculus avatar is 9 feet tall. What do you got about it?
Oh, you think they're being sizes now?
It feels like it if I'm not allowed to set my table at my ankles.
I would beat the shit out of you. I don't know. By the way, there's a low serve, and you're doing what? The hamstring stretch?
Yeah, I'm probably diving forward and breaking my nose on the nearest table.
This show stinks. For those that don't know, we're big in the Oculus.
Oh, yeah.
I had to just play some people after losing to you on Sunday. I had to go on a win and run.
I haven't played anybody outside of the friends list.
I had to just because I couldn't get a win against you. I had enough.
I lost a couple times to some people, and that's why I shut it down. I was like, all right, I'm not going back out there unless
you got to sharpen it.
Unless we're ready.
Yeah.
I think I'm at that point now.
You've been playing Carl 12-11 at all or no?
No, he's never in there. He's got kids and masters. And all
he
that.
can't even find it.
Yeah, he'd get lost.
He said last time,
AJ, last night, I laughed so hard just thinking of him. Moseying around, looking at people smoking cigars, just staring at him.
Man.
Maybe standing behind him trying to inhale the cigar. Just moseying for 6 hours. It's unbelievable to think about.
Yeah, do you think anyone saw him too? Like, oh my God, it's AJ Hawk. Should we go say
Probably. So 2 people tweeted that they did see him, but it was tough with the mask. They didn't want to interrupt because I assume he had that mask on. You can't see anybody's face.
Yeah.
Like a bank robber walking around Masters all by himself.
Yeah, you see AJ Hawk walking around. Holy shit, that guy might kill somebody. Let's stay away from that one.
I could not believe. People were talking to me as if I was, oh, you don't want to be by yourself. It's like, I understand that being by yourself is cool or whatever, but when you get lost from your group and there's no means to getting back, and you just wander around for 6 hours
without a phone,
I would not be able to do it.
Speaking from experience, it is not fun. That happened to both Foxy and I in the Bahamas when we went down there. I mean, I was lost and separated from you guys for 2.5, 3 hours in this fucking resort. It's impossible.
Foxy.
It's impossible. It stinks.
Foxy
and I had my phone.
Foxy trying to rob him.
No, Foxy just went Foxy went in the same loop. I believe if they were to get the cameras from that, Foxy went in the same loop for 4 hours.
Fox.
4 hours.
Miserable.
Foxy, I'm going to bed early. You know, I'm tired. We went home.
No. He was sent to bed early.
Oh, yeah, by the dealer. Yeah, by everybody, basically. It was like, all right, you got to go to bed. He walked around this resort for 4 hours. We left our, like, as we're going to bed 4 hours later, and we walked through one area. We see him. We're like, Fox, what are you doing? He's, I've been looking for you guys. So then he walks with us, and there's a lady that is kind of manning a post in one particular area of the resort, and she was like, this man's been here 10 times.
I've been watching him doing laps.
All right, we got to get to a break. We're back on the other side with Tommy Curran from NBC Sports Boston talking about Julian Edelman. That'll be a blast. Can't thank you enough for listening and watching, wherever the hell you may be. We'll see you in 4 minutes. It's the Pat McAfee Show. I think I've realized this year with the conversations, you do seem to be a rather normal human, which is very interesting, right? I assume for a lot of people to hear. AJ said, no, you are not a normal human. But because all the stories about you before this year, to be honest, a lot of people, the way they believed is you were the smug king almost is what the thing about it. And then getting a chance to chat with you, it's like, well, that's not the case at all. How is that like something you have to focus on? I assume it gets hard whenever you're hanging out with, Scott Stapp is hanging Aaron Rodgers jerseys up in his goddamn office. That has to be pretty weird.
Well, look, I think that's an interesting thing to talk about. I think a lot of times, people have said things about me, and it's been the same few people, and that's been kind of the prevailing story or thing that's reflected on. I think for me, I talked a lot about the work I did on myself. It was nice, and it wasn't intentional. Like, I didn't sign the show to have, and you guys know, we've talked about this off air, but there wasn't like some agenda doing this. It was like, fucking talk to Pat and AJ every week. Yeah, it sounds pretty awesome.
It has been, by the way.
It sounds amazing. But what it's allowed me to do is, I think, silence all the douchebags out there who were, talking for me and making themselves more relevant by using my name or running with stories that were not really based in any type of fact. And look, I've grown as a person. I've said things and done things that I wish I'd handled a little better. But this was a great, natural, authentic, whatever, whether it was 15 minutes at the stadium or 45 minutes, to just bullshit and have a conversation. If you're a friend of mine, if you know me, I think this is about as normal as interaction you're going to see from me. It's not a lot of BS. You're not going to hear cliches and garbage. I'm going to, shoot from the hip mostly. Tell you as much as I feel comfortable telling. I feel like I've been as honest as I could be. I've told you guys a lot of fun stuff. That's fun for me because then I don't have to maybe rehash it on a Wednesday, or people get to see a different side of you that maybe they didn't even know was there or didn't think was there. And it's been fun for me. I really have. I've appreciated every single week we've done these. And like I said, the best part is there was no agenda. There was no plan. I mean, even us, we didn't know we were going to go 10 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour. Or, we just started fucking talking, right? And then this came out, and it's been a lot of fun.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
This song's called Foxy with 3 X's.
Oh,
from DJ Griff. I believe this is that baby making tone. When you want to lay it down. Oh, get a little pause there, you know what I mean? When you want to, knock boots, rattle the headboard. Yeah. Make some babies, fornicating, love making. What? Too foxy with 3 X's. What? All right, welcome back. This show stinks
Triple
so bad. Joining us now from NBC Sports Boston, he's also the host of Tom Curran's Patriots Talk podcast, where they talk about the Patriots.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Patriots insider, friend of the show, Tom E. Curran. Yeah, hey, what's going on up there? You look like you're fresh out of Boston with that cap on. Love what you're doing.
Yeah, I know. I put this on. I got the little Goody Petronelli, Marvin Hagler trainer guy looking shirt on. I said, I'll put on the wig too. Match that stuff up.
Tom, you're the best, dude. Like, I heard you had wrote an incredible article about Julian Edelman, and I didn't have 40 to 50 minutes to read through the entire thing, but it was obvious that your passion for Julian Edelman was a real one. And I think we heard that a lot from Patriots fans. We obviously heard that from Bill Belichick, but his retirement, where would you put it alongside, and how do you think the entire community up there feels about it?
I was, full disclosure, lucky enough to write a book with him in 2017. His memoir is called Relentless. So I got to know him in a different way, and I got to know his family in a different way. Where I put the retirement, it really is another opportunity to take stock of what the Patriots were last decade and what they've been for 2 decades. And as he exits, I look at him as the Teddy Bruschi of the Dynasty 2.0. And that's really high praise. I don't know if Julian will get in the Hall of Fame. Teddy Bruschi certainly isn't going to. But they're the heartbeat of the team, aside from Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, for those periods of time. Those are the guys, Pat, you know how they talk about the guy you follow off the bus to send the message of, okay, who you dealing with today? And it's usually the biggest, meanest, toughest son of a bitch. Julian Edelman, to me, was the guy you'd follow off the bus because of who he was and how he played.
Yeah, and I think all people respected the way he went about his business, too, that was in the NFL. You saw a lot of other players come out and be like, hell of a run. He was a great football player, respected by everybody. And you said you're not sure if he'll get in the Hall of Fame. I think he will in 30 years. One of those, they'll start showing the highlights, and then they'll talk about the pivotal plays he made that led to certain dynasty runs and things like. I think he'll get in. I think he deserves it, and I just think it'll happen down the road. You know what I mean? I think he deserves to be in the museum of the NFL, which is what I believe the NFL Hall of Fame is.
That's a great way to phrase it, because that is what it is. It's the museum of the NFL. It's not for stat compilation. It's for impact, the beauty of the game as illustrated by the players and the individuals who shaped it. To me, the effort against Edelman's candidacy is ironic in that we've never been smarter as a fan or media base. And we've got an embrace that goes on of the analytics and a greater appreciation for what matters in games that goes beyond numbers. Yet everyone acts like a Neanderthal when it comes to Julian Edelman and ignores the stats, which are not yards per catch, not receptions. It's a guy who really had a 6-year NFL career. He was blocked out by Welker. He comes to the NFL as a wide receiver in 2013. Over the 6-year span, he missed 2017. He played 9 games in 15 and 6 games in 19. So he had a 6-year run. In that time, he had over 1,000 yards 3 times, over 100 catches 3 times, with 92 one year. He won 3 Super Bowls. He had iconic plays. And if you ask me, there were things that he could do that Calvin Johnson and Julio Jones and DeAndre Hopkins can't, and vice versa. But that's the thing, man. Who do you want to deal with on 3rd and 3 at your own 18 and the game on the line? Do you want to deal with DeAndre Hopkins on the outside or Julian Edelman in the slot? I would say it's closer to a coin flip than you'd think.
Well, Tom Brady made that decision a lot, by the way, which was why Julian Edelman was so important to those runs. We're talking to Tom E. Curran, a man who authored a book titled Relentless alongside Julian Edelman, also Patriots insider for NBC Sports Boston. I should have known that coming into the conversation. Just learned that you're the perfect person to be talking to. I mean, you are the perfect person to be talking to here, Tom. I read the book. Of course. We all read the book. I mean, it's a great book. And watched the doc and everything. But I always respected Julian Edelman because not only wide receiver and what you're talking about, played defense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As a returner, he was a nightmare. I hated punting to him. I actually ranked him as my least favorite punt returner to punt to whenever I was on NFL Network, which caused me a bunch of shit on the internet. I mean, I got attacked by a bunch of people, but I was like, this guy, fearless, will go for it. I love watching him play. I assume that's how everybody in New England has felt. Let's pivot ahead now to the team that the Patriots currently have. They went all in, $157.3 million in guarantees, I guess, on the first day of free agency. If my number's right, it might be 147, somewhere in that range. Robert Kraft came out and said, basically, we didn't like losing. Okay, we're going for this thing. Bill Belichick said, I very much publicly with his moves, I understand we didn't have enough weapons to keep up in this whole thing. How do you see the team doing? Do you think this is something that gets them back into the conversation? Because everybody outside of New England is like, of course, Bill, we had one bad year. Now Bill is rebuilding the whole thing. How do you feel in there? How do you think the team's going to do?
I think what's wild about this is, the Patriots had an opportunity here. Let me hit my low battery thing. The Patriots had an opportunity here that doesn't present itself and hadn't presented itself ever. And Kraft was acknowledging that. Look, not only are they the greatest dynasty in professional sports in many ways, and certainly in the NFL, but they just caught an absolute rope that got dropped into the well that helped them out. Look, it's one thing to have all that cap space, but it's another thing to have the cap go down and everybody else be crying poor mouth when all this happens. So the Patriots targeted guys, they went after guys in positions that they didn't succeed in or address in the draft, and they bought all those guys. So it's a store-bought team instead of a homegrown team. But still, with Bill Belichick in charge, how does it change things, Pat? To me, if it's a 7-win team with an embarrassingly bad offensive roster and opt-outs,
bad.
It's an 11-win team now.
So is that a 12-win then with 17?
No, it's 11-6. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Because, I didn't know if you were up. Because I'll tell you what, hey, 9-8 does not sound good. 10-7 doesn't even. Nope. Like 11-6 is the only thing that really sounds like, okay, successful. Imagine if you're 8-9.
What would Jeff Fisher do in this NFL?
Well, there is a thought that the Lions. Well, and 1. There's a thought that the Cowboys could potentially go 8-1 and still tie a game so they can maintain. That was what the internet was saying. I'm not taking credit for that, or do I believe that? But there is a way to still be as average as you possibly can with an odd number of games. We're talking to Tommy Curran of Boston. You think Cam Newton is, what's that?
What just happened in your gullet?
Well, I've been fasting. So whenever I drink a lot of liquids to potentially fill up this space,
repeated on you?
It comes up. It does. I got to taste that thing again. Mid-sentence. Sometimes I got to force her down. But I tried my best. Are they sold on, by the way, thanks for looking out. Not a lot of people care about me enough to really ask if I'm okay there. It has happened before, believe it or not. And by the way, Tom, I don't know if you know, I'm up to something. But the Cam Newton at quarterback, sold, 100% sold, you think, the Patriots? And what do you think the move is in the draft? Are they done making big moves? You think they're going to move in there? You think Bill's going to go ahead and shake some things up here? Need another wide receiver potentially with the squirrel gone, and there's some money that has just opened up.
I think they're going to sit in the draft unless something really avails itself. And they're going to be mobile if they have to be. But to me, you're going to get a lot of good players pushed down the draft board by some pedestrian or project-laden quarterbacks. And all those wide receivers are going to go, and all of a sudden you're going to be sitting there looking at defensive tackles like Barmore or defensive backs like Farley, or J.C. Horn, who are going to be sitting there. And the Patriots do need some of that stuff on defense. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went there. I don't know how. Oh, the Cam question. They needed clarity going into. I love how you do drop backs. They needed clarity, and they got it by saying, let's just re-up with Cam. If something else falls out of the quarterback tree into our backyard, we'll go pick it up and say, how about this? And then maybe they'll put it in the stew.
Oh, look at this. Who we just found.
Huh.
Who's this? Justin
Oh,
Fields?
Teddy Bridgewater just fell out of the tree.
Huh.
Should we use this? Yeah, bring it in the house. Let's see how it works. All right.
Well, it costs $18 million. Are you cool with that still?
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you have, Connor? Hey, Connor is excited, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Tom, great to see you. You look fantastic. I mean, we couldn't ask for more. Your connection's even coming through.
Your connection stinks.
Yeah, it's 50-50 today.
Your connection. It's Massachusetts, probably. You know.
Yeah, the satellites are much further away in Mass. But do you think the Patriots will look for a quarterback in the second, third round? And then for Edelman, do you see 11 getting retired, or do you think it will turn into like the number 50 where it gets passed down to like important players, if you will?
Oh, that's a good question. I do see the Patriots taking a quarterback in this draft. Absolutely. They need to replace Stidham if Stidham is not going to be with the team past this year.
So Stidham stinks.
If.
Stidham stinks?
He said if.
Stidham stinks.
If.
Seems like Stidham.
Hey, Connor was all in on Stidham. You think
he seems like he stinks, but I'm still.
Maybe he's got time. Maybe he's still got time.
Still hasn't had that second year off season that makes the guys make the leap with Patrick.
True.
Didn't have it last.
Very true.
And as for the second, Connor was
A number 11 passed down the number 50.
That's a good question, man. I don't know. I mean, they're so strapped for numbers as it is. I mean, they didn't retire it for Bledsoe, and then Julian got it. So I would say you keep that thing in circulation.
I did not know that they passed down the number 50. I did not know that was a thing until Connor brought it up during the break. That's a really cool. What's that?
Was that Nick Bonacani? And then it went to, it's been in circulation still and went to Vrabel?
Yeah, it was Vrabel to Nankovich, and then they kept it off the board. And then when Winovich got drafted, they gave it to him.
Tom, what type of, do you not know, Tom? Are you covering the same team that Connor's a fan of? What the hell's going on?
Tom?
Well, they just don't retire numbers. Here's the funny thing. You'll appreciate this, Pat. You know, Bruce Armstrong, when he retired, Belichick came in. Bruce Armstrong was kind of a friend of Drew and was just not really psyched about the appearance of Belichick on the scene. And in order to save some money, and because Belichick was coming in new, Kraft wanted Armstrong to be kind of moved along from in a dignified way. What I understand to be the case is Armstrong said, yeah, fine, I'll retire, but I want my 78 retired. And probably didn't deserve to have it retired. I mean, he was a Pro Bowler and might have had a few All-Pros, but they retired his number kind of at the point of a bayonet. And I don't think they've retired a number since. So I don't think that they like retiring numbers.
Okay, so just real quick, from an outside of New England perspective who maybe doesn't know the history, that was the previous head coach?
That was Pete Carroll. No, Belichick, when he was coming in, he's like, we're going to get rid of him. And we're going to get rid of Ben Coates. And they're like, oh, no. We just hired you and you're already killing us. We're releasing people. What are you doing, Bill? He's like, well, how about we retire his number or something else?
Hey, we'll throw him a bone, dude. I'm surprised Bill at this point hasn't just unretired that thing and just handed it. You know what I mean? Like at this point, like, remember what we had to do to prove that I was okay? And then,
print. I think I had a
like a JJ
limit on that.
He's the best, dude. How do you feel about all the bullshit contracts that are happening in the NFL right now? Tom, as a lifelong fan, obviously, voidable years, salary. I mean, Tom did this for a long time with New England and nobody else was doing it, but the salary cap, the signing bonus, it feels like everybody's starting to do that now. Do you think Bill will get credit for this long term when this becomes just the way everybody does everything?
Yeah, I think Bill gets a lot of credit for the innovative ways that he's done things. It's so fascinating to me that, again, it circles back to the Patriots having the unbelievable and once in a probably history of the NFL, good fortune in the face of outright and utter destruction because of a pandemic. that they were left holding the only golden ticket in the league.
The Colts had one too. We just didn't.
Right, but the Colts stink.
Yes.
Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
I mean, everybody. Tom, you cannot come on
away.
this show and just start acting like you're an internet person, okay? You are.
You want the Patriots to go away, and they end up getting the friggin' life preserver thrown out to them. Here, Cap's going down. It's good news for us.
He's got that dog Nike sitting there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking to the computer. They're looking around. So we're the only ones that have money. Oh, there's other people that have money. They're not going to spend it. Okay, so Kraft, I need every dollar we got. Okay, yeah, you got it. Whatever you want to spend, Kraft says.
One time, Bill. One time.
What do you have, Connor?
Yeah, Tom, speaking of Kraft, he said that he's seen a different approach to the draft this year. What does that mean? Like, is there a chance we're going to be pretty aggressive here? Maybe trade up back into the first round after our pick? Or is it just kind of probably the same old song and dance, take a cornerback like you just said?
I think the approach is more in that it was Bill and Nick Caserio for a long, long time. And
really? I didn't know Nick was that tight to the operations?
Oh, yeah. He was tight to it, but there wasn't a lot of, look, Nick grew up at Belichick's knee, and in doing so, pretty much shared an outlook and a philosophy that Bill liked. And I think in a lot of ways he said, okay, my job is just as much to do what Bill would want me to do as it is to build the team. And that's not me talking. That's what I've been told over the years.
Oh, you got sources.
Not an adept personnel guy, but it was just more of, I'm going to do what Bill wants. Now that they have new eyes and Elliott Wolf from outside the organization here, there wasn't a lot of pushback in between Nick and Bill. It was usually just they were in concert rowing the same way. Now, because Nick isn't here, Bill has to say, well, who am I working with? And it's Elliott Wolf who joined the organization, and they brought Matt Patricia back from destroying the Lions. And they've got
he did go out on a mission from Bill. Yeah. I'll go take down an organization in Detroit. They've been through enough yet, have they?
No. To go out there and correct some posture around sports writers and roots. More other organizations that can do that.
Tom.
But now they have an opportunity to say, okay, let's do this differently. And I think there's that energetic aspect that exists. It's less in draft philosophy and more of, hey, how are we going to attack this? Whose voices are at the table, and how is this exchange of ideas going moving forward?
Well, to catch a wolf, you got to be a wolf. Bring in Elliott Wolf. Good idea. Yeah. Not a bad idea. Tom, we appreciate the hell out of you, man. You're the best.
Thank you, Patrick. See you, Connor, and everybody else. Thank you, as always, for having me.
You think Connor thinking the Patriots are going to win the next couple of Super Bowls is out of line, or you think reasonable? Oh, he's hot.
Tommy, what the hell is that?
Oh, vitamins. That's a deep token. Oh, Tom. Damn, Tom let that thing go all the way down.
Sounds like Tom's the one on vitamins. He doesn't know.
Tom did look pretty comfortable hitting that down. Ladies and gentlemen.
I've done it like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
In the past day,
ladies and gentlemen, Tom Eaker. Love that guy.
He's the best.
God, I fucking love him.
Man.
I love that he has also just remained in Boston. I assume at some point in his career, somebody said, do you think maybe your whole thing would work elsewhere? Don't want to. I'm not leaving. It's like the Boston comedians. I guess there's like Boston stand-up comedians that are just Boston locals that could just go ahead and crush if they wanted to, and they just stick around Boston or whatever.
I mean, he even got the Cold Sting in there too. I mean, come on.
Okay. All right.
I've been beating that drum for a long time now.
There's no reason to bring that up. Okay, and the Colts don't stink.
No, they don't stink.
Carson Wentz got an MVP playing quarterback.
That's right. True. That's right.
You forget?
There is a thought though. Without the expanded playoffs last year, they don't even make the playoffs. I'm just saying.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Did
if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, the world would be, I think, like an amusement park or something.
That's right.
That'd be sweet.
Dink or Dong Fest.
Well, and if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So what we're saying is a lot of ifs here. Okay, if there, what are you? You just live in a hypothetical world. I live in the real world. Okay, Colts were in the playoffs last year. Should have won the whole damn Super Bowl. They did not. Now they got an MVP playing quarterback. How you doing?
Patriots weren't there.
Yeah, Patriots weren't in the playoffs with the expanded playoffs and everything.
No, we weren't. We had a quarterback who threw for 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. I mean, what do you want to do?
By the way, I would like to reiterate the fact that if your aunt had balls and she would like to be described
I was
as
gonna say.
uncle, you could do that.
She can.
Go ahead.
Listen, I am all about people being whatever makes you happy. Do whatever you got.
Absolutely.
But I was just that's a
Common phrase.
I don't know how common. It's pretty common, I think.
Yeah, I heard a lot.
Folktale.
Let's go to Dylan in New Jersey. What's going on, Dylan? I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Clarification.
You do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Legit. Hey,
ELE.
we're all going to die. Okay, everybody's got to do whatever makes you happy. Do whatever it is, and I don't see why people give a fuck on the other side. But hey, ELE. What you got, Dylan?
Hey, Pat and the boys, how you doing? First time caller here.
Hey, we appreciate you calling in and joining us there in New Jersey. What exit are you?
137.
Oh, he's up there. Way up there. Okay, what do you want to talk about?
Quick shout out to the boys and girls over at Elizabeth Fire Department. Big fans.
Oh, Elizabeth Fire Department. Appreciate your service.
Thank you, firefighters.
Thank you. By the way, my uncle. Hold on. If we're gonna give shout, my uncle just retired after like 30 some years of service to fire department in Pittsburgh.
Damn.
So, shout out.
Thank you. Shout out.
All right, I have a lot of respect for firefighters and EMTs and people that serve the community, obviously, because my family is littered with people that do so. Plenty of holidays where the old beeper would go off and everybody left. Oh, this is a good holiday for a little bit where everybody go, well, there's 45 fires because people can't cook a fucking turkey.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, what do you want to talk about, Dylan? We appreciate you.
I only got 4 years on, so I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for that anyway. I see you got up to something.
Yeah. I'm up something.
Heard you earlier, a couple months back, saying last year could have went to the Bucs had you been less careful with the old COVID and had antibodies. Could we expect a Buccaneers run? I was just checking the roster. Number one's open, baby.
Oh! And hey, that's going to be a dynasty down there, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of friends coach down there.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people down there.
A lot of people.
That is a real thing, by the way. If I would have had the antibodies last year, and now a lot of conversations would have had to happen, obviously, that potentially could happen, but I think there is a chance. I don't think I would have played because both kicker and punter got back, but I think I was potentially going to be brought down in there if I had the antibodies because I didn't have to do the 6 day in a hotel thing.
And you'd be wearing a ring on your finger.
I probably was loving it. Yeah, they probably would have given me a ring for 1 week of service. Yeah. Would I have been allowed to the boat party too?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you'd be number one on the guest list.
So if we weren't so, I don't know about number one. Tom was number one. His boat was nice, and he did rock that party. But at least as long as that thing looked like a great time. If we didn't practice social distancing and everything that we did, and if I didn't live like a hermit for most of my life, but definitely in the last 13 years, I'd probably have a Super Bowl ring.
Probably have a Super Bowl ring.
Easily.
I don't know if that's going to get talked about enough 5-10 years from now.
No.
Wow.
That is a reality that smacks me right in the mouth every single time it gets brought up.
That's why it's possible, maybe
I had to spill blood, by the way.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I had to spill blood into a test numerous times.
Yeah, because it didn't work.
Couldn't get the blood out.
Yeah.
Am I dead?
Yeah.
Do I bleed blood?
What?
Is there anything in there?
What?
Is this a fake finger?
What?
Why is no blood coming out?
What?
I put 16 holes in this damn thing. It hurts like hell. Why is there no red stuff oozing out of my skin?
What?
I'm an alien.
What?
I don't bleed.
What?
No one makes me bleed my own blood.
What?
Not even me.
What?
Couldn't get the test done.
What?
2 to 3 hours.
What?
People are waiting on answers like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, I can't bleed.
What?
Let me go get punched in the nose.
What?
Maybe I'll have my nose dribble into that thing. Will that work? Please don't have your nose blood into the thing, please, they said.
What?
But I am up to something.
What?
Let's go to Jason in Texas. What's going on? That is a bummer.
What's up, fellas? What's up, blood?
Hey, what up, blood? What's going on with the? What up, cuz? What up, what up, gangsta? I have a question for you. When is Texas going to allow sports gambling? Let's go ahead and get to that down there, huh?
Man, I have no idea, bro. I have no idea.
Jason,
we can't even get weed legalized here, so.
Whoa. No, here in Indiana, we get, and I feel like there are potential similar like entities running both Indiana and Texas. I think now, granted, individual cities are different in towns like that, but we got sports gambling passed pretty quick. The weed is going to take a while. The vitamins are going to take a while. So I don't think those two are necessarily lumped together, Dylan. I don't think you should give up hope. Let's go ahead and get that thing down there.
Hey, we can try.
Jason, not Dylan. Jesus. That's on me, Jason. What do you want to talk about, pal?
Hey, man, I just wanted to ask you guys what you think it's going to take for the Cowboys to lose Jerry Jones and the family.
Oh, so
better.
Are you a normal Cowboy fan? Like a lot of Cowboys fans?
I was born into the Cowboys.
Do a lot of Cowboys fans feel that way?
Yeah, me and my uncles, everybody, man. They can't stand Jerry Jones. My dad quit him when they fired Tom Landry.
That's a long time ago. What team did he go to? Green Bay?
Do what now?
What team did your dad go to?
Oh, he went to he jumped all over the place. He went to the Saints for a while. Then he moved down to Houston, and he's truly still a Cowboys fan in his heart, though.
Yeah, he
never really quit.
Just can't do it. Yeah, he tried to quit him. He never really did. He bounced around, didn't find greener grass anywhere else. But that's the Jerry Jones thing. I don't know if he's a representative. He's a representative of his family.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the entire Cowboys fan base. If it is, I'm very interested to see how Jerry Jones handles that, because he'll come out, cut some sort of promo. He'll do something, we're in this together type rally the troops thing. And if they win, nobody cares anymore. But if they continue to lose, I assume whenever you're the owner of the team, and this goes back to the Packers thing, how it's a gift and a curse with an owner. If they do well, it's like, okay, under their guidance. But if they do bad, it's like, okay, under their guidance. That same type of thing happens with owners. And Jerry Jones, who whenever you're in the forefront of every single thing going on with your team, you're going to get the blame and the praise, much like a quarterback. But they have not been great for a long time. So I guess you just have to go right to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, it's tough, though, because Jerry Jones, the Cowboys will be in the Jones family long after he's dead. I mean, it's like one of the most profitable franchises, if not the most. I saw a recent one. I don't know if they were still number one, but like they're not getting the Joneses aren't going anywhere.
$77 million or something like that every single game day. Now as we wrap up hour 2 here, Tom Pelissero, the Arrow, has tweeted something out that just flashed up on the screen. Tom Pelissero is saying the NFL informed clubs today any team employee who refuses a COVID-19 vaccination without a bona fide medical or religious ground. Oh my God. Them writing this. Imagine them writing the memo. The NFL informed clubs today that any team employee who refuses a COVID vaccination without in the NFL quotes, bona fide medical or religious ground will be barred from Tier 1 or Tier 2 status and thus have restricted access within the team facility and not work directly with the players per sources. So the NFL is, in their words, doing the same thing that college football has been doing. Mac Brown told us this seems like this is going to continue to be a trend. If you get a vaccine, you can do whatever. If not, you can't. This will obviously be met with resistance by people. There'll be other people that buy in, just like everything in the world that we live in today. But it's nice to hear that the NFL is putting it out there and saying, hey, listen, if they ain't got some real shit, we need a bona fide medical or religious. Are they allergic to needles? Okay. All right, I want to hear it.
Okay.
Did their God say they? And I would like to talk to their God too.
Yes.
We would like a message from their God too. We need a bona fide reason on why not, or they ain't getting into the building anymore.
I'm excited for someone to go back and be like, look how many times I said God and Jesus last year in press conference. I am religious and I will not get that vaccine.
Yeah, but what happens when somebody who's an expert in that religious field comes out and says,
get the vaccine.
God said it's cool.
Yeah, you told me. Go ahead.
So I would assume the NFL will start doing some research with the higher ups in the religious groups and say, hey, what's the deal? And all they need is what? One potential leader of the religious group say, yeah, it's cool. And they'll be like, this guy.
He told you.
Said,
I think Russ Wilson's doing a 1-hour special promoting the vaccine. So
there's a lot of vaccine promotion going on right now. From what I've been understanding, it feels like you get vaccine 2 weeks after, we're going to have the whole thing. We're going to be back. We beat COVID.
We beat it. We did it! Yes!
Hour 2 ends on a high note. AJ Hawk will join us on the other side. You got 6 minutes. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Let me tell you a little story about these statistics. Troy Polamalu, okay? Fucking Troy Polamalu. So we had a fake for the Pittsburgh Steelers that was a 100%er. We didn't even have a cancel the goddamn play because it was 100%er. If we ever end up in this situation, inside the 7-yard line on the left hash, it is a 100%er that the C gap will be wide open and we will just part the C to the left. It'll be a touchdown. 100%er. We're playing in Pittsburgh, the city I grew up in. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I won the punt, pass, and kick national championship, AJ. National championship, AJ.
Congrats.
AJ, did you ever win the national championship punt, pass, and kick?
I think I got 3rd or 4th out of 4 at the Nationals.
I'm proud of you, man. Anyways, so we're there in that stadium, okay? A lot of McAfee's in there. A lot of McAfee's in Pittsburgh. I'm going to score my first fucking touchdown, night game, Sunday Night Football, I believe it was, right here, touchdown. We get into that situation, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is really going to happen. We're like on the 6, on the left hash. It's 4th and goal now. Field goal team's jogging on. I'm like, well, fuck, it's about to, I'm ready. I am ready for this to happen. So I get out there. I get down. Vinny's like happy for me. Vinny's like very excited. He's like, let's fucking go. Like Vinny's excited for me at this moment. I'm like, here we go. So I make the call. I forget what it was. So I start saying it, right? And everybody's looking at me like, okay, bright eyes. Here we go. Let's get after it. Offensive linemen are dead ass tired. They do not want to be in the middle of a field goal anyways. So they're just like, all right, I don't give a fuck if you die here, but this should work. Let's get some points. And all of a sudden, I go through my cadence, I call it, I get down, and Troy Polamalu's fucking ass goes ahead for however long his career was at this point. I think it was like 9 years or 8 years at this point. Not a once has he ever gone to this side of the field over here to the left and stood right in the C gap. Never. He lined up exactly where he had lined in film 100% of the time. And then as soon as I got to like the second cadence right before set, he just bounced his little ass right over to the C gap. And I like stopped everything I was doing and I literally just looked at him. And I gave him like a, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, why are you there right now? And then I stood up and said, we are kicking it. We have to kick it. We are kicking this. And then I get down, and Vinatieri kicks it, and I jog off the field, and Chuck Pagano comes running up next to me. He's like, hey, good job. What'd you see? I said, what did I see? Polamalu just fucking went right into the goddamn C gap. What did I see? What did I see? And he goes, okay, sounds good. Good call then. And good call then. And then Vinatieri's like, hey, way to go, buddy. I'm like, way to go? Are we not going to talk about how big of a fucking asshole Troy Polamalu is for what just happened right there? So that's.
I saw the angel of death waiting for me in the C gap.
It's unbelievable. What, you thought I was going to run him over? No way. He's probably going to strip me and score a touchdown the other fucking. That's Polamalu, bro. That ain't just your backyard football with your son. These are professional fucking athletes. He'd probably jump over the lineman, pick me up, and run me into the other fucking end zone if he wanted to. That's what he would have done.
The hard-hitting safety of his generation, too. I mean, Ed Reed, great cover safety. I don't know that you would have feared him, but
Ed Reed, I would have feared Ed Reed. Yeah, if I saw Ed Reed in that C gap, absolutely. Reed, boy, the best safety you ever seen, boy. I ain't doing shit to Ed Reed.
No, Ed Reed would have made the tackle. I'm saying that Polamalu would have shaved years off your life.
Oh, my God. Let's test out this Sharon! Proper footy. Seems like it has a bigger sweet spot. That's the greatest sport on earth right there. Aussie rules football, also known as footy, AFL. My first time bombing in official shorts that are a little bit restricting. I think I lost a ball, to be honest. Might be a Lance Armstrong situation down here, but I can see why this sport is beloved, because those balls fly. Need to get down to Australia, meet up with the Magpie boys, and finish out this AFL season as maybe its biggest fan in America. Let's have a day.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021 years after zero. This hour will feature a man who's a Super Bowl champ. Yeah. Been there, done that. What? He's felt the confetti. Real. He's experienced the parade celebration. Wow. He's held Lombardi in his grotesque mangled hands. Yeah. Oh. He has a ring, both from that and winning a college national championship. Wow. One of the most successful blue-collar runts in the history of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. Yeah! Attaboy, AJ.
I appreciate that beautiful intro. Thank you.
Well, you know, sometimes because you're on every day, I do get a little bit lazy with it. And to be completely transparent, I've gotten very lazy with a lot of people's intros these days. I used to really go for it. Now it's kind of like, all right, I know, but not enough. How do we do it? It's kind of a mix. But every once in a while, I like to remind people that the human that joins us for the third hour every day is a pretty badass individual. Yeah. And when you hear about somebody who's accomplished all these things, you get to learn these very, fascinating tidbits about these people that have worked their way all the way up to the upper echelons of society. They drive with both feet.
That's right.
They wander around Augusta for 6 hours lost chugging beers. These are things that happen at the upper echelon. And I think that is why it's so important to let people know who and what you are, AJ Hawk.
I greatly appreciate that, and unfortunately, the two-footed driving thing is not dying down. I'm getting a lot of people not only reaching out online but in person now to ask me.
Fools.
And they're mocking you, every one of them.
No, they're actually a lot of them seem to be showing a little bit of jealousy that they aren't able to do it.
Sure. Okay, dude.
Of course, I'm happy to hear though that even people over there. Was this at Augusta? People were saying this, or was
no? That would have been amazing. In my mask by myself, if some guy would have came up to me and asked me about it.
Nobody at Augusta that you were wandering around aimlessly around has ever known that this show exists. That is not our demo. Pretty apparent when you look at the statistics. Oh, well, I want to let you know, genuine laugh out of me last night all by myself on my couch thinking of you wandering around chugging beers for 6 hours, potentially trying to get secondhand smoke from other people's cigars. I mean, it was genuine laughter. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I think I'll do this at least a few more times now.
Yeah, hey, I think we may even be able to get Jordy on here sometime this week to maybe chat it up a little bit and see how his Masters experience was, I guess.
Jordy Nelson's going to come on this show?
Whoa.
Yeah, I think tomorrow he might be able to come on during our YouTube hour.
Oh, at 3 o'clock?
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Here we go.
Hey, Jordy. I'm going to have, Jordy's going to come after dark. I'm going to ask after hours. Because it is the middle of the day, so it'll be a hard sell. But Jordy's coming on after hours. One of my first questions is going to be, I thought as a torch lights off, just sounds like a jet engine is taking off.
What is wrong with you? Mute your mic, AJ.
Do you have any regular lighters at this point, or are they all, we need the high-octane Hemi lighter?
No, I don't have any, Bics that you buy at the gas station. I have mainly just torches that you use for
how cool were you when you got when you had a Bic? Oh, back whenever I was moving cigs for people, slanging squares, dude. I also would help them with the lighter trick where you pop the top off and light that thing.
Yeah.
Like, look at this, now the experience is better too. See you later. Thanks for the 50 cents. You know what I mean? I was a little high. They used to be able to do that though with those.
Oh yeah, make that thing.
Yeah, stand it up.
You used to get those things going. Yeah. They kind of put restrictors on that. You know what I mean? I don't enjoy that. AJ, Julian Edelman retired, and my entire take was, as a guy who had to punt to him and watch him play, and how he was so good at football, and he was like the perfect person at his role, I think. Wes Welker kind of created it, and I don't want to, no bash of Wes Welker, but I think Julian Edelman kind of evolved that role into a little bit more. And there's a beautiful, candid moment between Wes and Bill Belichick after Julian Edelman took a punt back to the house in preseason with Darius Butler blocking for him, by the way, in that video, where Bill Belichick asked Ernie Adams, what was the name of that guy? Wally Pip, that's it. And the other guy comes up to him and is like, do you want to do this? And he's not even listening to this guy. And that guy looks too like, and then he goes over to Wes and he goes, Wally Pip is? And Wes goes, no. He was like, oh, he's the guy who missed the game. And then Lou Gehrig went on to play 23,000 straight games or something like that. And Wes goes, oh, you mean the young guy or whatever? He goes, yeah. He goes, oh, he can have it or whatever. And Bill goes, way to compete, just so disgusted.
From then on.
So disgusted with Wes. But I think Julian Edelman took that particular role. I think Miami, where Wes was kicking and doing everything down there, and it became something. And I'm not saying they created the slot position, but in New England it was famous. And then when Julian Edelman made it, I just thought he was such a damn good player and made so many pivotal plays. And the immediate conversation is, well, he's a Hall of Famer or not. I think 20, 30 years from now, he gets in. And it's going to be because the amount of highlights he has, offense, defense, special teams, and moments and titles, I think it's going to be something later. I might be wrong, though.
Well, it should be. I don't know how many voters there are for the NFL Hall of Fame.
I know about none of it. I know none of that behind the scenes stuff.
Is there a certain criteria they are supposed to follow when they're doing this? Because some guys obviously may just look at stats, and if you do that, people have all seen Hines Ward and different receivers compared to Edelman's numbers. Yeah. But if you can't go strictly off of numbers. That's the thing. I don't know. I think your take on it. I saw it earlier when you talked about 20, 30 years down the road. I think are they eligible for 30 years once you become eligible 5 years after your last game?
I don't know. Is there a rule on that too? I did not know that because
there's a time you're not just eligible for the rest of your life. I know there's a time frame.
I did not know that because is that why it's such a big deal for some of those older guys that don't get in because they're running out? I thought it was just hey, there's always I did not know I know nothing about the Hall of Fame other than the fact that we're supposed to play the Hall of Fame game. They put a tarp over fresh paint. It became a magnifying glass, and it became just a sticky field. Mm-hmm. I know that it's a massively cool honor bestowed upon a very select group of people that have gotten the incredible opportunity to work in the NFL and to play in the NFL and everything like that. I understand that. But my views on it are much different than other people. And I think why the Hall of Fame has remained the Hall of Fame and why it's so highly sought after is because of the way some people view it as this prestigious thing. You need this, you need to do this, you need to do this to get in. And I can respect people that view that, and I appreciate that they think that highly of the Hall of Fame because that is what the Hall of Fame is. For me, I'm there's a lot of incredible football players that are going to get forgotten about because they're not being put into the museum, which is the NFL, when this thing's around 100 years from now, 150 years, if the world still exists. By the way, I know there's a potential chance that this whole thing goes, and there's, we got starships and whatever, everything going on right now. Mars is happening. They're underground, by the way. Check in there. I'm tired of being told that there's nothing on the surface. But 100 years from now, 200 years from now, if the league continues, and why shouldn't it, by the way? It feels like it should. They'll adapt and everything like that. There will always be competition of some sort. Boxing has lasted a long time. Let's assume football will as well. It's the biggest league on earth. It feels like there's some people that are going to get missed out on in the museum of the game, which is how I view the Hall of Fame. It's like the museum. Hey, these are impactful people, but there's not everybody that views that way, and I don't think anybody will ever be able to come off of how they feel about that particular situation.
Well, whether Edelman gets in or not, if his bust is in there, there's going to be some parts of Edelman in there. They're going to have clips of his catch in the Super Bowl, the bobble catch or whatever, that seemed almost impossible when you watch it in real time, how it even happened. There'll be stuff like that, and maybe, but yeah, whether his bust is in there, I don't know. I don't know what the voters are looking for. I really don't.
Me neither. I love, though, that they do take little artifacts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Vinatieri's cleats, I think, were sent over there immediately. Yeah. I was like, Vinny, hang on to those.
Worth a lot.
At least get a good video of them for an NFT.
Yeah. Well, what did Chris Carter say after Phil Rivers, after he retired? Was it consistency or?
Well, to be a starting quarterback in the NFL for 17 years. That, how that's something that should be hey, that's not easy. There's only 32 jobs in the world. And they're he never won the Super Bowl or whatever. It was pretty fucking close. A lot of the time played football better than a lot of people and was a starting quarterback, which is impossible to do for that long. And Chris Carter's like one of the, isn't he a Hall of Fame? He's like one of the voices. He has something in there.
You can't just go off just stats. Like Edelman, his moments in the NFL is ridiculous.
Well, then also the title goes to Pro Bowls and All Pros and everything like that. People are like, that's all judgment stuff. Like All Pro is the media deciding who they think are the best in the NFL. You think the media knows who's the best in the NFL and and I'm not saying all media don't know, but I'm just saying all media don't. I'm not saying every member of the media doesn't do this, but the All Pro thing is voted on people who potentially have no idea what's going on in a certain aspect of football. You know what I mean? Like somebody I was in the NFL 8 years, played pretty good, whatever, that whole thing. I could not tell you who the best guard is in the NFL, aside from Quentin Nelson, because he's on our team. So Quentin Nelson's our best, but somebody else probably feels the same way. I would assume it would have to take somebody who's like an offensive lineman expert, maybe a former NFL guy, like, oh, this is why he's greater to that whole thing. So like that's all pro. Pro Bowl, there is a lot of factors that go into that thing as well. So whenever people are like, well, it's awards that happen, it's like, well, the awards were potentially bullshit too. I mean, it's like, there's really no.
It can't be one. It has to be like you have to look at every single aspect. You can't say, oh, this person had 12 Pro Bowls, this person had 5 Pro Bowls. Like it can't be just that. You have to look at, I think too, like clutch plays in the biggest games, in the biggest moment, like Edelman, obviously Super Bowl MVP.
Yes.
So many big-time third down conversions in the playoffs you can remember when you think of his career, and just absolutely maybe one of the toughest guys ever to play the position too. And the damage that he would take and just get up and keep going, man, that's one of the most impressive things I've seen.
And he's beloved by his teammates. Yeah. Like it's just, everybody seems to have come out. Like I think that is, I don't know, maybe I'm different.
Yeah, but even the people who, talk about he doesn't have the Pro Bowls, All Pros, but he has Super Bowls and Super Bowl MVPs. So, like, how does that MVP? How does that, outweigh the other? Especially if it's consistency. In the playoffs, he's one of the most consistent wide receivers.
That was 28-3 game? Is that the one he was MVP?
No. He was MVP
against
of the Rams.
Seahawks.
Was he the Rams?
MVP against the Rams. The bobble catch was against the Falcons.
Yeah.
He had the winning touchdown catch against the Seahawks when he came back inside and went out.
Yeah, everybody remember Malcolm Butler, right? Everybody remembers that, but they don't remember the pivotal moment that if it doesn't happen, the other thing doesn't happen. Which is what we talked about earlier, like how can you measure that particular point in the entire dynasty too? I don't know how you do that.
Did you guys talk about the fact, I hate to bring it up because I love Edelman, the fact that he had a 4-game suspension back in 2017? Do you think some voters are going to hold that against him?
I didn't even remember that.
Right. Yeah, 2018. So he had a 4-game suspension in 2018 after he missed the entire 2017 season.
Really?
He was trying
with
to
the
come
ACL.
back from injury.
Yeah.
Oh, dicks.
The relentless documentary. The relentless documentary.
I was just trying to get back on the field for his teammates.
Yeah, the relentless documentary goes into it about how he took something that someone gave him. That
in the NFL, do they hold that as like the MLB? I feel like they're big time against it. Right? Is the NFL? Do we know if the NFL is?
I think didn't they change the rule to where if you got popped for PEDs, you couldn't be like the NFL MVP. I think they changed it after Merriman. Like you weren't up for postseason awards if you got popped that season.
AJ, were you around? You were in before me, obviously. Were you around when you guys were just shooting steroids up in the locker room? That happened, right?
Yeah.
When I talked to some of my old coaches that played in the 80s and early 90s, yeah, they said they didn't really test for anything. So I'm like, oh man. So what were you doing? He's like, everything.
I think we heard who, by the way, that you said that. I think we heard who that was, by the way, in your impression there.
No, I wasn't. No, you don't know who I'm talking about.
Okay, good news. But it did feel like the stories I had heard about the older NFL, it was like that, though. Like, they were just very, and I feel like baseball was like that. Mm-hmm. When I was in there, though, it was not talked about at all with anybody. And it might have been different in Green Bay, I'm not 100% sure, but it was a very, people would walk in the locker room that were like, you'd look at me like, well, what is going on there?
Oh, shit.
And then, but it was never like a, hey, let's talk about a thing. Mm-hmm. Always very quiet, I think. And I think that would be surprising to some people who didn't know that I don't think that type of shit gets talked about very much at all, by the way.
No, it's not like teams have a pact oh, hey, D linemen together. We're all going to be juiced out of our minds together. And they sit there and put their fist in before every time they shoot up.
Right.
It's not a movie.
Not a bad idea.
All right, hey, try to get some blood.
Team building.
HGH on 3.
There's a blood pact. We're not telling anybody. We're doing this all season, and we're going to be better, faster, stronger than everybody.
Well, and the Packers had that first round.
Tony Mandarich.
Yeah, Mandarich, who was shooting up juice before practice.
Michigan State alum.
Bro, how about in baseball? They were chewing gum that was activating testosterone boosters in the middle of innings in games.
Really?
Yeah, allegedly. Now,
where is that gum? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if it's gum or an activator. So it would activate something else that they put into the system that was dormant because they had to take a piss test. Like, they were getting that deep into the, what's that?
Anthony Bosch.
Bosch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Man Ran.
Screwball?
Yeah, Screwball, the documentary.
Screwball, have you seen it?
Yeah, do they talk about that gum in Screwball?
Yeah. He
Biogenesis.
talks about biogenesis. He talks about how they got so sophisticated to get around the testing that they created something that they were able to chew that would activate a dormant thing in the body that would up the testosterone. So they would do it while they're at bat or whatever. It was just like, are you kidding me? Who's doing this? Who's thinking of this?
There's a book. It's literally, I think I've read 3 books in my life. It's called Game of Shadows. It's all about Barry Bonds and Balco. It is fucking incredible.
Really?
Oh, awesome.
Just the lengths they would go?
Oh, absurd.
See, that's
very good. Yeah, Pat, I know you don't read, but you should have someone read it and write up an outline for you. It's very good.
Thank you.
There you go.
What were you going to say, Ty? Nothing?
No.
I thought you had something on the baseball people.
But even before steroids, they were all taking those greenies. That
What's
was
that?
like, it was kind of like Adderall.
Yeah.
And they'd just be fucking dialed.
Hey, Adderall is something that gets a lot of guys in the NFL.
Well, Chris Davis, who plays first base for the Orioles, got suspended for Adderall.
Well, a lot of NFL guys.
Yeah.
A lot of guys were getting popped for Adderall because it was considered, it's an amphetamine, I guess. So that was a performance enhancing drug. And guys, because you get one annual test, a street drug test once a year, guys would take that test and then they'd be out there like, okay, I'm allowed to smoke now. Okay, Adderall, I can also just take an Adderall, I guess. And then it was all of a sudden like, no, actually, Adderall is not a street drug. It is, that's a performance enhancer because you become a superhuman with your focus. I have no idea. And now I guess I've heard from people that Adderall actually calms them down and brings them in, and I have nothing but appreciation for mental health and figuring that out. When I took it, I thought I could potentially, and I had never really, I still to this day have not done a full kicking session with that. I thought I could jump over a fence that I was looking at when I had Adderall. The first time I tried, I was like, oh my God, I can just go. And the fact that it does the complete opposite for people is interesting, but the guys were getting popped for Adderall.
Imagine
there for a bit.
Welker.
If you felt that way, can you imagine how those baseball players felt when they like the greenies were a thing that like every clubhouse, every dugout, like the guys would come off a bender the night before and they got a double header and they just eat some greenies and they're juiced up and they're ready to go.
Bobblehead night.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There it is.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
AJ Burnett had 8 greenies going.
We don't know. We don't know.
It all comes full circle.
And by the way, that was probably post Greenies.
Yeah, that
True.
was
Very much post Greenies.
Yeah, he just took Adderall.
No, he did not. No, he's an old school throwback.
Yeah.
He went out there, had a good time, and threw the hell out of that damn baseball.
The first time you take Adderall, though, I mean, I took it one time before a soccer game, first time ever.
Did you have a heart attack?
I was fucking. I couldn't see outside the lines of the field. I was so dialed in.
Should have suspended your ass.
Yeah. There's a lot more than fucking Adderall on that field, pal.
Dude, it was. Well, how about
play intramural soccer? Does Gump play intramural soccer?
Whoa.
What?
I mean,
do you play intramural soccer like now?
I wish I could around here.
Me too.
I wish I could. AJ, I played when I was back home. I'd go out and play like once a week, just in like a fun league.
I've been looking for like a pickup game around here. I went to a couple here throughout my years. I was just getting hacked to shit in those things. I try my best. I show up and I'm just getting hacked.
Yeah, that was you played. So we played Div 1, and then as you got older, you dropped down to Div 3 before you went over 35. You'd get whacked worse in Div 3. It was a waste of time.
I was playing in a soccer game, a pickup soccer game. It was like 10:30 at night on maybe like a Wednesday or Thursday. And this is when I was in the 27 months of the substance of abuse program where I couldn't do anything. So I had to figure out what was fun to do sober, because previously to that, I had no idea. I had no clue. I went and played in this game like 10:30. I think I was the only English-speaking person there. Okay, I was the only English-speaking person there. And boy, I 4 minutes in, I said, I immediately regret. Somebody slid. It was an indoor game. Slid cleats up, and I had to like jump over. I'm like, oh my God. And like I still had the ball, and then somebody came was like, oh, there's no. They're playing.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, this is a play, and it was like 10:30 at night. I was like, all right, I'm going to get out of here. I just went home and left. But there's very few games. I wish I could find those now, though.
Yeah, when we played 5-on-5 at the Y, it was like, oh shit,
should not be.
This is going to be a marathon here.
Because they're playing defense so hard on me.
Yeah.
Okay, just so that they could potentially tell whoever, whenever, however about how they bodied me. It is in Indiana. It is tough for me to do anything competitively because if there's a chance of me losing, it is going to be told. So there's been times where, I traveled around an entire parking lot and played cornhole against everybody.
Had to do it.
Yeah.
Had to do it. Did not lose a game. 30-some-0 that day, an Indy 500 day. And I was like, okay, now I need everybody to just go tell everybody. And I never have to play a cornhole game again. I played basketball, these pickup games. Yeah. I'm getting my shit blocked off the backboard, and then they're yelling in my face. Yeah. I'm like, all right, I got to go home. I'm never going to be able to go to the grocery store again after this.
You passed the ball, and I remember giving it back to you, and you were like, no. Take the ball. I don't want this fucking
This guy
thing.
is not picking me here, because if this thing there's a camera on me right now, I'm going to look like a terrible athlete. And I'm a punter already. This would be bad for the brand. If I shoot a trash thing into like a garbage can and there's people around, like that has to go in. If it doesn't go in, that's why you're a punter. Okay, shut the fuck up. All right, that is just, it's everything, AJ. You don't even know. You don't even know about it.
You can't be playing basketball like that anymore. I mean, you're going to get Gary Veed one of these days. These guys are just licking their chops just to run you down from behind and maybe like wrap you up. Yeah.
Legit. It felt like that in a soccer game. It felt like that a little bit in a soccer game.
Or you're gonna pull a Tom Segura if you try to play.
His treasonous left arm, man, bro. That thing. If my left arm did that to me, I would not be able to look at it. Cut it off.
Cut this thing off.
If that thing just quit on him and was just like, take me, and that was unbelievable. I think he's back, by the way.
Is he?
Man.
I'm not 100% sure.
I thought he still had like the bionic arm sleeve.
Bro, unbelievable rehab he had to go through. Oh my
surgery. Hey, you know what betrayed him? It looked like he slipped, but what caused the fall, I guess his patella snapped.
Just blew up. Yeah, so his knee and his arm. And when his knee blew up, his left arm was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, let me go back here real quick.
Fucking break this too.
Imagine having to do fucking rehab for trying to dunk a basketball.
What happened? Well, we were doing this dunk contest. And I had it.
I was winning.
I had it at 8.5. You know what I mean? And we had to go up. Tom, what a legend, dude. I think he's back on tour. I think he's doing Spanish shows and English shows at this point. I mean, he is.
He moved to. I think he moved to Austin with like the rest of the comedians.
Well, did they all do that because Rogan's there, or did they do that because it's wide open and they're allowed to? It's basically Elon and Rogan's town now.
I think a little bit of both. I think a lot of people in California, they didn't know when they were going to get back to work, so they took off.
Rogan is going down there? Yeah, Rogan's going down there. Okay. Is Chappelle going down there? Yeah, Chappelle's going to be down there. Oh, so we should probably all
So if they're doing
Elon just moved out there.
Elon's
too?
building?
Oh,
we need to go there.
Okay,
so we're just going to do what we do here. Just do it down there. Because their rules are different.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're going to do. Smart move, by the way, by them. Smart move. Elon's going to build his own town within a matter of, years probably at this point?
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be just it's probably just going to be an airport for Starship.
Starship base.
Dubai.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the town. Come to town. Town Starship. Starship town.
Not to mention the city he's building on Mars. He'll have 2 different places on 2 different planets.
Well, and we can't forget Paul Heyman said if they are going to have civilization on Mars, Vince McMahon will be building a stadium up there and putting on a show. So we got to think about that as well. We are by the way, AJ, we just talked about, a lot of things there. We legitimately probably will see a time where people are just fucking bouncing around other planets, I think.
You think in our lifetime that could happen?
I think so. I mean, I don't know how long you're planning on living. I don't know how many greenies you were hitting up or whatever, but I hope in my lifetime.
Yeah, I don't plan on dying. I tell my kids that all the time. Just because everyone else died doesn't mean I have to.
True. It's a bedtime story, AJ.
Well, they're worried. They're like, Dad, you're gonna be at my daughter. Dad, you're gonna be at my wedding, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm never dying. You know that.
Listen, nobody has defeated death yet. Let me tell you, Daddy's going to defeat him. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to defeat
See
death.
this jawline?
Vince McMahon's mom is 101 years old or something like that.
Jeez.
And there was the headline that I read. The headline said that Vince McMahon wants to live as long, if not longer, than his mom. So I think it's like he's planning on 120, 130?
Yeah, at least.
He's still going to be like deadlifting 800 pounds.
What, a video came out last week?
Yeah.
Last week of him 400 pounds or something like that. What's the oldest human of all time?
How old was that nun?
104, right?
Yeah,
I think
I thought it was like
120 something.
The nun was 120 years old?
I think so.
That was when I think we should have declared victory potentially over, Uncle COVID.
122 years old.
My God.
Beat COVID.
Yeah.
Did she beat the Johnson & Johnson too?
Yeah, no one's beating that.
We don't know anything about what we are speaking about right now. We just read headlines and react to it.
But
there's a person right now who's 118 years old.
Let's go!
All right.
Let's keep it going.
Actually, there's a lot of people.
He or she hits 100, by the way, and they're like, still got another smoking life. Still can get to gambling. Still can do this. That would be wild. You've lived 4 lives at that point.
There's 50 people on this earth more than 112 years old.
Hey, that can be us, boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? Who says no?
Live long enough just to see Julian Edelman never make it to the Hall of Fame.
All right, we got to get to a break.
It doesn't matter because we've been able to see chimpanzees play Pong, How about that?
Bro, did you see the chimpanzee playing Pong?
No.
Well, it put a Neuralink in its head, okay, which is Elon's next thing where we're all just going to be telepathically talking to each other. I watched a chimpanzee do it with a computer. So the Neuralink thing, I think, tracked this chimpanzee as it was taking a ball to a lit up square. And by doing so, it was moving this joystick, which I thought was the trick. I thought that was the trick of the video. It was like 1 minute and 5 seconds of that. And I'm like, holy shit. Wow. Look how smart this goddamn chimpanzee is. Then they get rid of that thing. There's 2 Pong type things. And the ball is bouncing back. He's controlling it with his mind, blocking the ball back and forth. The Neuralink was sending it to the thing.
Next level.
What the fuck is going on?
That's happening today.
That chimpanzee was unbelievable at Pong.
Yeah.
It looked like there was a couple that
keep an eye on that thing?
Yeah. They better.
Seriously.
Are they gonna shoot that thing before it comes and takes over?
I don't know, but it's only a matter of time before he's had enough of playing Pong and he beats the living shit and kills the person working in that lab.
Cesar.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
Cesar had a situation that did play out, unfortunately for us, in that particular scenario.
Yeah.
But this one seemed like it was just a competitive gaming,
Exactly.
Just likes to have a good time.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to do war.
What if they give him Call of Duty? Then what's he thinking?
Don't give him Call of Duty.
No.
Cannot give him. I don't know. Cannot
sports. This guy's gonna disarm a security guard. Take
How
out
about that
everybody
dog
in the room.
Hey, did you see that dog come hopping out of a crime scene in New York this morning?
Digidog.
The Digidog. Did you see that?
No.
So some guy comes out in cuffs, and then 2 cops come out, and it seems to be a pretty large scene. And then there's this cop wearing this helmet, and he has it seems like a motorized airplane, one of those controllers, or like a drone controller, and there's this dog trotting in front of him, right in front of him. And then the digital dog that has a head that looks like it was just a camera or whatever, and that thing just turns the corner and trots right on down the street. It's unbelievable. A digital dog. I would assume it's just one of those robots that has a camera so people can see what the hell's going on in there.
For bombs, like a bomb sniffing thing to send them in.
Bingo. Instead of sending in actual dogs that had to smell it out, let's send in the Digidog. But then the question is, what does the Digidog do next? Does it do what's that Citizen movie? Guy from P.S. I Love You's in it.
Law-abiding citizen.
Law-abiding citizen, where that guy has that little machine that just has a.
Graveyard.
At what point are they gonna in the graveyard scene? Whenever the drive is happening, what happens when that Digidog gets a thing going on?
And they also, I do believe, are using robot dogs to carry weapons in types of war, and sergeants are telling them to trust the dogs like you would a human.
Putting 50 cows on their backs.
Be careful.
Well, also, we also have to say we do understand that the world is advancing quickly. In this particular fashion, I would like to have a little local revolution too. They're using Tahoes as cops now.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Chevy Tahoes are now cops around here.
Are you serious?
Pickup trucks are now cops around here. Okay, watch it. They are not marked. They look like a murdered out Tahoe.
Okay.
That thing will get your ass speeding.
Okay.
So we're not at dogs yet, I don't think, around here, but we are at Tahoes and trucks.
Yeah.
And they're getting speeders. So fucking watch it, dude. Wait. I was driving by, I was like, oh, this sucks for that guy. Never knew there was a cop there.
Yeah.
Wow, they got Tahoes around the town, stuffing everybody's bank account. Woo! You got a stimulus? We're getting that thing.
Give it back.
That was wild, AJ. I did not know they had Tahoes.
They're all different kind of cars. I feel like any car can be a cop car now, and they have such low-profile sirens on the top, you can never tell.
I really don't know how you tell it.
These ones don't even have sirens either. It just looks like, some farmer
License
pulling up
plate,
next
what's
to you.
Bro, there has to be some sort of murder we can solve, right? With those Tahoes and things?
Should be.
Especially when they're, using the Tahoe as a bait car and going 95 down the left lane. And
They do have a pace car
Yeah,
going.
just leading people right into the trap.
Is that a cop? I think that was, yeah, they got Tahoes now. That wasn't. All right, we're floating, and then right around the corner, you got a guy.
Gotcha.
Helmet on,
Yep.
onto the motorcycle. Oh my God. They heard people got their stimulus checks around here, and they're like, we're getting a lot of people got money to give right now.
It's time.
Let's go ahead and get them. This is the first time, long time, in my life where I am driving, and I guess they would say this worked, I guess. I'm driving speed limit.
Oh, yeah.
Have to.
For sure.
Oh, can't do anything. Which, by the way, means is how I should have been driving my whole life.
Yeah, they need to. The Indianapolis police should show this clip to all the taxpayers. Say, see, this is why we have all these nice vehicles, because it does this exact thing that we need it to do. It gets people like you to slow down.
Steal. People like me. Oh, please.
All right, AJ. 2-foot driver.
Yeah, you can't go as fast as me because you're riding the brake the whole fucking time. All right, the car can only go so fast with the metal just run up against it.
I never really paid attention to driving with my feet, honestly, until we started this conversation. And now, lately, I've been paying attention, and I've been noticing, like, man, I bet Pat is so slow going right foot over the brake. I've been feeling just how efficient I've been and how I haven't ridden. I never ride with brakes, honestly. It's just, like I said, it's just super smooth, man. Give it a shot.
I did. It stinks. How many subscriptions do you have, AJ?
400.
Well, so you know?
Maybe.
Most people don't even know. Most people don't even know. The average American spends $200 a month on subscriptions.
My God.
Yeah, but most people think they're spending near 80. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How much you spend on subscription? Probably 80. You're probably spending closer to $200. You don't even know it.
Jeez.
You got cops getting you for speeding out there.
Yeah.
Robot dogs.
Robot dogs. Now you got subscriptions you didn't even realize you were still subscribed to, taking money out of your bank account. Come on. That's why the folks at Truebill are on a mission to meaningfully improve the financial health of millions of people. They find those subscriptions you have forgotten about or don't want anymore and cancel them for you with a tap. They also lower your bills and help you make and track your budgets, invest, and keep up with your credit score.
Ooh,
Okay.
love this.
Hey, this is really, really good business idea. If they would have just been, hey, you haven't used this subscription, it's obvious, and canceled a company, would be dope.
Yeah.
But instead, they're everything. Lower bills because they negotiate for you.
Okay.
Did you even know you can negotiate bills? You didn't. You can. It just takes a lot of time. They do that for you. Help you make and track your budgets, invest, and keep up with your credit score, which, by the way, very important thing you don't learn about until you become an adult. And then you're like, well, isn't this a bunch of bullshit? And they're like, yeah, but it's always been this way, so this is how it goes. It's like,
Okay.
okay.
Fine.
Okay. Truebill safely and securely gathers all your accounts into one place, identifies recurring expenses, notifies you of your upcoming bills, and most importantly, will cancel subscriptions for you. The average Truebill user saves over $700 a year.
My God.
Truebill helps you visualize your ratio of earnings to spend and sends friendly notifications when you've exceeded your budget. Plus, they can even keep track of small changes to your credit score to help manage your financial decisions. Say goodbye to forgotten free trials, subscription fatigue, and living paycheck to paycheck for no reason. Truebill, the all-in-one financing app, has everything you need to take control over your financial life. Go to get.truebill.com/Pat. That's get.truebill.com/PAT to sign up today and stop wasting money.
Sounds good.
Start driving the speed limit, okay?
Hell yeah.
There's Tahoes out there. Yeah. We got a 4-minute break. We'll be back on the other side. We can't thank you enough. This is Pat McAfee Show, Tuesday, April 13th. I'm up to something. I'd also potentially taken over their 30 edibles because I thought more teammates of mine were going to want to indulge in that either before the game or after the game. And to get to London, you go through your own TSA here. The team has TSA that you have to check in. Here's my passport. The Colts already have it. They took it all from everybody. It's literally you get your bags checked and then you're through. Put them in a little thing. We're good to go. It's team's TSA. Get on the bus, fly over there. I forgot all about them. Didn't utilize them at all because how things quickly changed.
Right.
After we lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, we're on the team bus. They go, hey, we're going through Heathrow Airport through the real-life TSA. And at that moment, I look around. I go, oh, no. I have some things in my bag right now that have vitamins in them. I have to get rid of them. And at that point, I'd whittled it down to like 15 of them. And I look at Vinatieri, and I'm like, buddy, not good. He's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I guess I'm just going to throw them away in here. Couldn't do that because right next to the trash can was an English police officer. So I couldn't just walk up and dump a bunch of edibles into the thing next to the guy. He's going to ask questions. We're going to the Heathrow Airport. Now I got to do what I got to do. We finally get there. Police escorts, a lot going on. So I just take down 13 edibles.
Yikes.
See you later. Vinatieri looks at me and goes, how you doing, bub? I was like, good now, but things are about to happen. He goes, I got you, little buddy. I'm like, thank you. So we go through the little check-in thing. And right before we get to the scan of the bags thing, it all hits me. I might as well have been on Cloud 45 over there in London. They check my bag, boom, boom, boom. I get selected. Something was in my bag. So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, did I leave a couple in there? Oh my God. Vinatieri starts walking ahead. He turns around. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, they got my bag, man. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. So he comes and stands with me. He's like, I got you, bub. I was like, they might got me, for real. I might be staying the night in England. They go through my bag. Turns out, had a vibrating toothbrush. Thing was vibrating in my bag.
Yep.
They're like, oh, it must have been this. Or it must have been my big-ass toothpaste because you can't fly with that. I was like, you got it, pal. I get all the way back to the plane. Lost my ticket somewhere. Somehow I don't have a ticket. So now I got to check into the gate people that I don't have a ticket. I'm like, I'm on this plane. I promise I am, but I don't have a ticket. They're like, what's your name? I'm like, Patrick McAfee. The McAfee? No, yeah, whatever you want to call me. I just need a ticket. So now I have to sit there and wait as somebody brings me a ticket from the front while my entire team walks by me, knowing that I'm on Cloud 50, just having a good time. Grigson walks by, just upset, obviously. I wish he would have known that I was in a mood where he should have talked to me there. It was just a nightmare. The London trip for me from beginning to end was not good.
Give us a call at 888-MAD-DOG-6. Pat wants to hear from you. No, not really. He just ran out of things to talk about. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
Welcome back to that show. Vibes are high on this Tuesday, thanks in part to our office being stocked up with Celsius Energy. The new flavors are in, and they are phenomenal.
Man, these things are awesome.
Connor, will you get up and show off something that Celsius gave us that makes us maybe the coolest studio in the history of studios?
Absolutely.
Celsius is the best alternative to those old energy drinks. They taste great, and they're better for you. It is the best way to get the caffeine you need without all the bad side effects. As we stare down this offseason here, we are going to need it. Celsius is such a great partner with us. They sent us a fridge loaded with Celsius because our office ran out of Celsius. That's very nice of them. I shotgun one before the show. I'll shotgun one after the show. The green tea during the show carries me, but green tea is actually in these things. With guarana and other things that you can pronounce that make it the most healthy energy drink you can try. Their motto is actually Celsius Live Fit.
Okay.
And it does give you quite an energy boost. It has zero sugar and is made with premium ingredients like ginger, green tea, and guarana. Turn it around so the label is in the front. Oh, stooge. It is even... Nailed it. You know what you were doing, though? You had all the nutritional facts showing.
Yeah.
Because you're 100% right.
Smart.
Yeah, labels are there. You need the nutritional facts. You're 100% right, Connor. That's on me for even questioning that for a second there. The nutritional facts are absolutely beautiful as well. Ginger, green tea, guarana, none of the bad stuff. Just the essential energy you need. It is even packed with 7 essential vitamins alone with 200 milligrams of caffeine.
Wow.
We love Celsius here, and if you haven't tried it yet, what are you doing? Head to celsius.com/buy-locate. That's CELSIUS.com/BUI-LOCATE to find Celsius near you today. I think it's on Amazon as well. I think 100% very, very delicious.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Zero sugar, too, so if you're into keto or anything like that, you're good. I literally shotgun them, and they just get me going. It's a nice little boost there, and takes me back to a younger time where I was much cooler. We have some updates. AJ, there's some shit popping off in the NFL. Do you mind if we get to that right meow?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, the NFLPA has released a statement for the Denver Broncos players. David Bakhtiari quote tweeted the original tweet from the NFLPA and said, read it again. So I'm not sure if that's him saying, say it louder for the people in the back, or if that's him saying, like, read it again, like they all believe in it. We will have to get a further explanation from Bakhtiari, but I believe he is in agreement with what the NFLPA released this morning. Playing in the NFL is a dream of our players who work tirelessly year-round to perform in America's greatest game. With off-season programs starting in less than a week and without adequate protocols in place in order for us players to return safely, we will be exercising our right to not participate in voluntary off-season workouts. COVID-19 remains a serious threat to our families and to our communities, and it makes no sense for us as players to put ourselves at risk during this dead period. Positivity rates in our city are higher than they were at the time this year or last year, and we know players have been infected at club facilities in recent weeks. Despite having a completely virtual offseason last year, the quality of play across the NFL was better than ever by almost every measure. We hope players across the NFL work with our union as we did to get all of the facts so every player can make an informed decision. That's a statement on behalf of the Denver Broncos players via the NFLPA. Interesting, because it's voluntary workouts, so you don't have to come out and say you're not going because it is voluntary in the name of what the workouts are, voluntary workouts. But this is an effort, I think, by the NFLPA and by players to not even have the word voluntary or workout as something, because if they keep it as voluntary workout, it'll become contentious where people will go, the media will report, although it's voluntary, so is your playing time and your narrative and PR spin on everything. So this is interesting for sure. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm intrigued to see how it all pans out.
Well, the fact that the Broncos are the first team to come out and say this, do you think now we're just going to see the effect of everyone? Now that the Broncos did it, they jumped out ahead of it. Are other teams going to jump in? And could it be possible that every team, like the players, stand like in solidarity and say, no, none of us are going back?
I mean, there is a chance it could happen, right, AJ? I mean, there is a chance, but you and me talking here. What do you think the chances are of everybody in the league buying into one particular thought? They just had the vote for the new CBA. It was 51 to 49 or 50,
yes.
50.5.
But for every player, though, Pat, think about it. For every player, it's almost impossible to get them all on the same page. But one thing that can get them all on the same page is coming back and say, hey, we don't have to come back to this facility. We can do everything virtual. Look at what happened last year. J.C. Tretter's a very smart guy, too. He has some stats and different things to back it up. But I guess the hard thing would be they're using Denver saying what rates are higher now than they were before. If your city isn't in that situation, maybe it's a little tougher as a team to say we're not coming back.
Well, yeah, and the positivity rates, I assume the city's a little bit more open than it was last year, so maybe that has something to do with it. Not good, by the way, but there's I mean, let's have a real conversation here where you say if there's anything they could rally behind, it's not going to the facility in the offseason, and I agree. But you and I both know there will be opportunists who see a chance to potentially, make a lifelong dream come true and get paid more money than they could ever dream in their entire life. And there's only a certain amount of spots. And if you want us to come work out, we will come work out. We're not a 10-year vet. We're not a 9-year vet. We don't have any offseason plans, actually. We're going to go do that. It's going to be difficult, I think, to get everybody on the same. The reality of it is it's going to be very difficult, I think, for this not to potentially get a little bit messy. This could get a little bit messy out there, I think.
Oh, I think it's definitely going to get messy. And now the teams, other teams are thinking okay, well, this happened. Do we need to look at it? And whoever your team rep is, I'm sure, is reaching out to guys in the team and the coaches and trying to get a feel on where, I guess, everyone's head is at. But if you have, let's say you have 25 younger guys that are all gung-ho and they want to come back, what are they going to do if only 25 show up? You're not going to have OTAs, really. You can't do that. You can't practice football, actually.
Yeah, and the people you're practicing with, it don't matter because they're not going to be the people in the actual practice that matters or the games. I guess you're learning the system. You're doing, workouts, conditioning, showcasing yourself as how you would be as a teammate of the team. But you're right. I guess if there is a large majority of the people who are the players on the team that say, hey, I've always potentially wanted to not come to these, but I would look like a terrible person if I didn't come because everybody expected me to come. Maybe this is a good idea. Maybe this is the time where we get a chance to, kind of not have to do this anymore. I don't know how it's going to pan out publicly. I don't know how this, because I know the first line, can we get that quote back up? The first line, it was hey, this is a lifelong dream. We work tirelessly year round. They understand at least that this is potentially going to be a PR issue. Yeah. Playing in the NFL is a dream of our players who work tirelessly year-round to perform in America's greatest game. I agree 1,000%, by the way, with that statement completely, but I think this potentially has the case. And maybe they've thought about this and maybe they have an entire plan, but publicly this is going to get scrutinized.
Well, new guys and rookies, do you think they have no worries? Okay, I'll learn it either way, no matter what, even though, I've never been, the Broncos are looking at a quarterback, aren't they, in the draft? If that guy goes there and all of a sudden he can't go to OTAs.
Yeah, but hey, they will say Justin Herbert played well this year. Yeah. Joey Burrow played well this year. It was actually the mental part, the Zoom calls, was actually a lot more beneficial than everybody could have imagined. And maybe kept them fresh too because they weren't in the building every day. Mm-hmm. Just like AJ said, there's numbers on the other side, a correlation for everything. But I just think any change like this is very easy to be kind of leveraged against somebody PR-wise. Tom Pelissero is reporting that off-season programs are scheduled to begin Monday. J.C. Treader told players on a call last week the NFL's last proposal was to have the first 2 weeks be virtual, then start in person. The union wants everything prior to training camp to be a virtual, including mandatory minicamp where you only have to show up virtually to actually this one weekend of stuff, which hilarious. That would be awesome if you only have to click into the Zoom link during the 3 days if that happens. There's also some more vaccination stuff coming out from the NFL via Tom Pelissero as we're kind of happening live here. Tom Pelissero says the NFL and the NFLPA have said COVID vaccines won't be required for players, but the memo they sent out this morning saying that somebody has to have a bona fide medical or religious ground for why they would refuse a COVID-19 vaccination. It only mandates for coaches, among others, in the Tier 1 staff that are not players. Directing clubs to set up vaccination sites for staff, players, and eligible family members is the latest strong push. Okay, so coming out of it on the other side now, just as we had thought potentially happened, there's going to be a lot of things to figure out on the other side of this whole COVID thing as well.
Well, you saw he mentioned vaccines are not mandatory for the players as of right now. But everyone else in the building, it sounds like it's mandatory, right? If you want to be around the players.
Yeah, and Mac Brown said it's not mandatory for the players down there, but if everybody gets it, we're allowed to practice. If not, we're not.
Yeah.
So it's if you're a college kid, it's you want
to play?
I do you think?
I don't think the PA is ever going to let the NFL even try to say like players have to get vaccinated.
And here's a letter, I guess, from J.C. Tretter and Damori Smith. We have been in regular contact with the NFL on negotiations over a virtual offseason, as we have shared with your executive committee and board. It is clear that neither side wants to move off their respective positions. As we have made clear throughout bargaining, the COVID status in the country is as perilous as it was at this point last year. A number of players recently tested positive at team facilities. COVID weekly positive rates are as high, if not higher, than at this point last offseason, and NFL players who contracted COVID last season can become infected again. We believe that having the same offseason rules as last year is in the best interest of both the players and gives us the best chance of completing a full NFL season in 2021. Then they go on to say, as you know, other mini camps, all off-season things are voluntary as recommended NFLPA based on a medical expert's advice. The voluntary off-season program is in person. Players should not attend. Please let your player director know what the consensus of your teammates regarding their individual decision about the voluntary off-season period. We will let you know what we hear regarding mini camps and training camp structure and schedule. Damori Smith and J.C. Tretter, who are the heads of the NFL Players Association. Oh, this is going to happen. Neither of us are backing down. It's about to go down.
Uh-oh.
It's about to go down.
It's all negotiating, man. Like it's all part of it. I know the CBA was signed, but it's all like give and take. What do the owners need to give, and what do the owners really want? Do the owners really care if the players are in the facility? I don't think so. Coaches absolutely want their players there. Owners, I don't think care nearly as much.
But they want one. We'll give up OTAs. Hey, what are we getting though? And I guess that is how I wish that wasn't how the relationship was between the NFLPA and the NFL. I wish there was a way, in good faith just to be like, hey, this is good for us, good for you, good for the game. Let's go ahead and do a handshake. Let's move on. Feels like Adam Silver and Chris Paul potentially kind of have that type of relationship. Mm-hmm. But the NFL and the NFLPA at this point, there are so many dogs out there trying to get the best deal at all times in those negotiations. I don't think that'll ever happen. It's a shame, though. It's because both sides very clearly need each other. But it's like, we're going to war. Yeah, we going to war in here. Hey, Pat, this ain't your little fairy tale land you live in. Okay, this is real life. I'm like, all right, well, I just wish it was a little bit different then.
Well, J.C. Tretter and the union, I guess they're trying to back up their claim with facts and points and stats from last season, saying like the play on the field obviously was very high. We had less injuries and all the different stats they can point to, and we didn't have an offseason in person. And if you're J.C. Tretter, you can say not only are we trying to save our players' bodies when it comes to that, but also we're trying to protect them from COVID too, mentioning that some players have recently tested positive, have been working out, I guess, in their NFL facilities right now.
Yeah, and then the you can get it again thing, you know what I mean? Like that is. But then what if the NFL comes back and they're like, okay, yeah, you're right, we'll do that. Also, you still can't eat at the same tables then. You can't even say you're not allowed to be you're not allowed to do this. You remember how you talked about the year being terrible because you really couldn't do anything. We'll do that again too, by the way, for the season because your stats you just said there. So like it's a never ending, you know what I mean? It's a never ending. And I just wish we could all put our swords down.
Come on.
Just put our swords away. All right, listen, dude, the world needs it. Let's go ahead and just figure it out.
What if you're Vic Fangio in Denver and the rest of that coaching staff? Don't you feel like, all right, well, my team, we just shut down our off-season program. These other teams, they all have theirs right now. Like, isn't that a little bit of a competitive disadvantage towards us?
Yeah, the Denver Broncos are like, oh, we don't have fucking off-season?
Yeah.
Is that what we just learned via memo? Via Twitter? Is that what? Has anybody told us about this? We've been planning. It starts on Monday.
My ass is on the line here, boys. It's a prove it year for me. Get your ass in the facility.
Bro, Motor City Dan Campbell's going to have to wait to actually coach, get the hands-on coaching. There's going to be a lot that happens here, and it's all going to end up being, for some reason, there's going to be some negotiation, and hopefully next season we'll just go off without a hitch. That's all I care about. I wish there was a lockout every offseason because it would be the NFL's fault, not the players' fault, and we'd get to chill for 6 months. It was awesome. AJ, before we get off Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio, do you have anything to say to the listeners, maybe to send them into a beautiful afternoon?
No, I don't think I have a whole lot. Just Mad Dog, I know, big personality. He loves you. You're a big personality. I am not a big personality, but I appreciate being a little part of this whole channel and this whole show.
Okay. You are a big personality.
Yeah.
Okay. You're also potentially a big doofus wandering around Augusta. And there ain't nobody else doing that. You know what I mean? That's why this show's a little bit different. And that's why also the next show is going to be much, much better. Chris Mad Dog Radio with Mad Dog Unleashed will be on the other side of this break. We have a massive show coming tomorrow. And by the way, hey, I'm up to something. Something big's coming in the next couple of weeks. I'm so thankful for all of you. We'll see you manana. You got about 6 minutes till a legend. Cheers. Show's over.
When did you make that shirt?
This one? I'm up something.
Yeah, I know.
It was made, immediately upon me starting to say it. It's kind of, the internet operation.
Duh.
I'm up for something. You see it?
Have you given any clues out to anybody?
Maybe.
AJ.
Have you been paying attention?
Have your eyes been peeled?
Yeah.
Maybe, dude.
Wake up,
dude. I'm not good with riddles, so I'm sure I didn't notice any of them.
Oh, really?
Did you leave your cell phone?
If you were in, did you get lost out
your
there?
head out of the
If you were in Saw, you would be fucked, huh?
Yeah.
Not good with riddles.
I probably don't want to go one of those escape rooms either, where you have to like solve a riddle to get out of the room.
Well, a lot of people would say that's potentially because of CTE.
Oh, I just run through the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably have to try to resort to that. Yeah, I think I was born with it. I don't think it was brought on by head trauma, but you never know.
Get
Literally,
tricked by a bottle of sunscreen.
You actually distracted. Distracted by the bottle of sunscreen. Let's get some phone calls here. But maybe I put out a clue or 2, 3.
I don't know.
I'm up to something. Hey, it's big, AJ.
Yeah.
Big.
Huge.
It's cool, man.
I feel like this is the days leading up to Jay Glazer breaking the news about the guy that got COVID.
Brian Allen. Come on. How can you forget
Jay's
his name?
back on the. He's breaking news again, AJ.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
James
where
Conner.
is Jay's been very quiet.
No, he just broke news. James Conner just signed with the Arizona Cardinals via Jay Glazer this morning. It was this morning. Congrats to James Conner finding a home in Arizona, a team that is spending money and getting after it. James Conner, obviously running back from the University of Pittsburgh, who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now he's going out to the desert. When we talked to him, he was in a tank top, I believe, and he looked absolutely yoked. Yeah. I think he's a New York Times bestseller, and he run the rock good. Now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans kind of had like a love-hate relationship with him because they loved him, wanted him to be great, but the run game for the Steelers was really non-existent last year, not because of James Conner. Now he gets a chance to prove himself over there with Kyler Murray and Chase Edmond, I believe. In the
Chase Edmonds,
it could be good, but Jay Glazer's all the way back, dude. Come on.
Is he? I was hoping the camera was fixed on you for a while that he was absolutely all the way back because he was getting prepared.
Well, maybe you should throw me some fucking respect, AJ. How's that sound?
Yeah, well, AJ, also, you don't have to just ruin kayfabe with everything we're doing. You know?
I never know with you. Never know with you.
Obviously, I just spoke for an extended period of time about one particular thing, and I rounded like 5 circles around it because there was something that has to go down to get Jay Glazer on the horn.
I mean, what do you think we're doing over here, pal?
Yeah, some amateur operation? That's not what Jay Glazer is.
No, not at all. AJ's a buffoon. I've said it time and time again, and I could have broke the Connor news, but I was actually watching film of myself. You guys saw the post. I had the MMA gloves on. I was fucking beating the shit out of that bag. So it's good to be back. I feel good.
Let's go. Jay Glazer has an off season. He told us.
I missed the quote. Wait, he say he was watching film of himself boxing.
Oh, fighting MMA, dude. He got a gym out there. Listen, do you have no respect
on,
for Jay Glazer?
I'm done with this guy.
Yeah, you have to be.
Hang up.
Yeah, have to be. Thank you, Jay, by the way.
Yes.
Love you, Jay.
Love you, Jay. Hey, and he said too, fucking love you guys in a response. So
yeah, that was one time though. Things do change. I don't know how he'll feel about this exact one here, but I think
spot on.
I think Jay Glazer is back. He said he takes some downtime in the offseason. Now that OTAs are about to maybe potentially pop off, he's back in the game, breaking some news. That's what Jay Glazer does, dude.
You got the draft. I'm sure Jay will be all over
here
the
we
draft.
Go.
Come on.
Mm-hmm. Love Jay. Love Jay Glazer.
Hey, how many true like news breakers are there in the NFL?
5 or 6. I think if we go through our day to day, you got Rappaport.
Yep.
You got Shefty.
Of course.
You got Jay whenever Jay's in the game. It depends on when Jay's in or not. I think you can put Pelissero in there. Field will get whenever Mortensen.
Yeah.
So like 5 or 6. Like Garofalo will get in there.
Sanchez.
Who?
Josina
Anderson gets, she's, hey, by the way, she's become very, very inside.
Rossini. Yeah.
Diana Rossini. Yeah. So like 10, I guess. I guess it's like 10 people we kind of.
Yeah. Sal Paolantonio.
Sal whenever he wants to, I think.
Yeah.
Sal's like at the point where it's like whenever I feel like that game is a tiring, exhausting game. He's out of the game now. He's back in it. He actually starts the story. You got to be in that game, though, I think. You got to commit your life to it, I think.
Absolutely. You got to commit to having 2 or 3 phones and Yeah, just at any moment. It's like you're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I feel like, if you're Schefter or Rappaport.
Yeah, I got to be on my phone. Why? What's going on? Well, the general manager of the 49ers might tell me who he's drafted today. So why don't you fucking relax? Can you put your phone down? No. Okay? I can't actually. If you want to go, if you want to have a house in the hills, in private therapy in the middle of Beverly Hills, I'm going to have to be able to answer my phone on a fucking Wednesday. Whatever that Ari thing is. Man, I did not do that justice, but that's all I thought about for those.
When the bat phone rings at 4:00 on a Wednesday.
yeah, dude. We thought about him earlier. He should be on Cameo as Ari Gold tomorrow.
Yep. Yes. Is he on Cameo as Jeremy Piven?
I'm not sure, but if I was him, I would just go ahead and put one tweet out that said Ari Gold's doing Cameo for 3 days, and then just doing. And maybe you can't even use the name because he doesn't own it.
True.
Just say it's like
Entourage character.
Barry Schmoltz.
Ari Schmoltz. So yeah, Barry Gold. Barry Mold. Barry Mold. Oh, Seattle Seahawks just made an announcement. Says the back room back there. Mansouri says the Seattle Seahawks players, for the protection of everyone's safety, we, the Seattle Seahawks, are deciding to exercise our CBA right to not participate in voluntary in-person workouts. While many states in this country are still seeing rising COVID-19 numbers, we believe that a virtual offseason is best for everyone's protection. Our hope is that we will see a positive shift in the COVID-19 data that will allow for a safe return for players when mandatory workouts are set to begin. Okay, so the Seattle Seahawks players, as via the NFLPA, via the Seattle Seahawks, they said, hey, listen, if we figure this thing out, we'll go back. It felt like the initial thing was we want this forever. Now it's like, hey, if you guys figure it out, we'll go back. All right, hey, maybe reasonable. Maybe
I think we're going to see every team with a statement come out like that in the next couple of days.
I believe within the next day. I think it's going to, I think this will start to steamroll, obviously. I hope it happens, but I mean, this will be very impressive. There's going to be a massive display of the NFL Players Association if everybody sticks together here and does it. I mean, as a spectator now at this point, I'm pumped to see how this. Because as somebody who's been in some conversations, and by that I mean just in a room where people were talking about potential NFLPA decisions, every single thing has a split. It's almost. I assume, I don't know much about the world, but the politics world, everything is super split. Same thing with the NFLPA stuff. It involves money, it involves your future, it involves everything. You're going to have people with differing opinions. That's kind of, why the NFL is so great, actually, because the locker room is this melting pot of people from all over the place with different backgrounds, which was reasons why they have different opinions about things. And then you get in that locker room, you have one common goal. The one common goal is to get your team to be the best it can be to win the Super Bowl. When you're talking about the NFLPA, not everybody has one common goal. There's actually 5 to 6 sometimes different goals that are hopefully out there. If the NFLPA can kind of pull this off, I will be incredibly impressed by that whole thing.
That's what I think they will. I think it's player. They've been talking, I'm sure, to the teams. And they're saying, hey, this is like, we all have to kind of be united if we get behind this. It can't. I don't know if they're going to get every team, but it does. If I had to guess, I would guess every team comes out with a statement similar to like what the Seahawks said. Like,
yeah, but what about every player? Right now. What about every player?
What about every player? What do you mean?
I think they'll get every team. What about every player?
If your team is saying we're not coming back, I don't think players are going to be able to kind of almost, it's not a picket line, but they're not going to be able to go in. Like, I don't think it's going to work that way.
By the way, I hope that's the case.
They might work out. Now, players will still work out at facilities, I bet. I know there's places, there's facilities all over the NFL where they have a lot of players and they're working out now in small groups and everything, but I guess if they're saying we're shutting down, then those guys aren't going to be able to come and work out even in the weight room.
That's what I'm saying, and that'll get kind of blown out of proportion, and guys will get asked questions about it. It's going to become. This is going to become. I think this is going to become something. Tom Pelissero, the Broncos have had 22 players. See, you got to remember, Pelissero is speaking for the NFL. The Broncos have had 22 players work out at the facility this offseason, second only to the Cowboys with 25, who A.J. Hawk said last year would go to the Super Bowl. Per source, a dozen teams have had 15 or more. So while the NFLPA and players emphasize safety issues of returning to facilities, many are already there. Tom Pelissero is basically like the NFL is thinking, people are already in the buildings working out. We got 25 people in Dallas. We got 22 people here. What are we even doing here? And that's why Tom is like, hey, by the way, this is going to get Oh my God, it's going to become something.
Oh yeah.
I thought we were all kind of doing this thing together.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
$110 billion, 11 years, 17 games, 117 check. Hey, last year worked out. We got a season done. We all committed. How you doing? Let's go. Now it's like, well, are you? Are we good or not? I mean, now is going to be the time we're going to find out.
Look what happened to the Patriots players that opted out. You think if a few guys aren't going to be doing OTAs, that's not going to register with Belichick?
See, it's going to be interesting, AJ. It's going to be interesting.
Who do you think? If there's a team out there that you could guess that would not join with the group and that they're going to go back to their off-season workout next week or the week after, what kind of team would it take? You think?
Yeah, well, Diggs just alluded to the Giants there. I would assume the Lions as well.
Jags.
Oh, the Jags probably.
Yeah.
They're buying.
I would imagine Urban wants to get in there and get some work going.
When are you coming on down, huh? What are we doing? As everybody else doing? A bunch of losers. We're on the edge.
Schlegel's waiting at the squat rack already.
He's like, hey, listen, we'll put masks on. We're wearing masks. We hate COVID.
Fine.
Hate them. Hate COVID around here.
He's already there. He's already there working dudes out. I don't know how many.
I'm going to speak for myself here about those OTAs and everything like that. And I am not somebody that had to run during these drills or anything like that. But for me, like for the kickers, like kicking at the facility was massive for me. Now, there's a lot of guys that kick other places, but I lived here. There's nets there. You got equipment managers that can help out. And also, there's no chance of people coming up and interrupt or anything. Like, I actually loved going to the facility in the spring. I actually went to the facility at like midnight a couple of times and like went in there myself. Like that type of... A lot of the older guys, too, by the way, that stay in the cities where they live, they're probably pretty big on the virtual offseason. They also probably work out and train in the building still. It's going to get to a point where, it's going to be like, yeah, volunteer, do whatever you want. Come in. Like, I hope that's how it gets to there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like it's going to get ugly before it gets to be like that.
Especially with that memo that was sent out to all the players or whatever that was like, neither side is budging. It's like, hey, put the helmet on. Get the gun out. We're going to war. What's that, Nick?
Do guys have workout bonuses? Does that count towards voluntaries?
Yes. Yeah.
Got to hit a certain percentage. I saw a thing where, so in Green Bay, I felt like the majority of the roster had workout bonuses, and I always wanted as much money possible in my workout bonus because to me, it's guaranteed money. All I got to do is show up for 85% or 80% of the off-season workouts, and you get it. So, but I found 300 players, is that right, have workout bonuses in the whole league right now?
I did not look that up, but I'm going to trust your big brain on that one. Mike Chappell, who has a Hall of Fame vote, has been covering the Indianapolis Colts since the day they got to Indianapolis.
Wow.
So he's OG in the game. He said, going to be very interesting. It's clear players standing firm on not attending voluntary workouts, but several players have workout bonuses. Colts have players zero without bonuses.
Zero what?
Colts have zero players.
Okay, Chap. Come on, Chap.
Without?
Packers have roughly 19, 11 with bonuses of at least 100,000. Bills have 28 with 16 at 100,000 plus. I think I had a small bonus maybe in the workouts. I'm not sure because the same reason that you said, by the way. It was like, I'm going to be there. Like, if that's what they want, like, I'm cool with that. Whatever. It's cool with me.
To AJ's point, the Packers have the most money in the league with the workout bonuses.
So maybe that's just the way the Packers operate. Like, hey, by the way, we're not going to really invest outside of here, okay, a couple times, and you're going to work out here all year. You're going to be in Green Bay. You're going to live in Green Bay. You're going to do Green Bay things.
Hell yeah.
Okay, because we can't get free agents here because once they land in Green Bay, they want to get out of Green Bay. Andrew Brandt is tweeting, which, by the way, is not fair to Green Bay.
No.
I just want to let you know. James Jones said that earlier. I'm not saying that. I instituted these at the Packers 15 years ago as a staple in all veteran contracts. Here you go, AJ. This is why you had it. Players were not coming to Green Bay for the offseason. One is stay in Florida, Texas, California, wherever. We had to incentivize them to do so. Money is better than geography. Packers have $5.1 million in workout bonuses that they could give out. The Jags, 3.7. Urban Meyer's like, let's get these boys down here. Bills at 3.2. Chiefs, 3.1. Panthers, Bengals, Raiders around 1.9, Bears, 49ers, Patriots round out the list at $1 million. So it's not that much, really.
Not in the grand scheme of how much money is involved, but I would assume that PA is trying to negotiate with the owners right now to the same thing that, hey, if we show up to 80% of the virtual off-season meetings and stuff, that counts for my workout bonus.
So that is definitely the mission behind this is the potential workout bonuses that are associated with this. That's why guys don't want to go. They don't want to travel, don't want to do it. They want to make their money, but they don't want to have to travel back. Actually, last offseason, they found a trainer that actually made them feel better than they had ever felt in their entire career, staying around their home. They had that entire thing. Now, how do we business-wise figure this whole thing out going forward? There's going to be a lot to talk about with this. Listen, it stinks for all parties involved.
Yeah.
But as people that have to talk about sports every single day, this is going to be one that I think is going to
Oh, yeah.
continue. This is going to be one.
Don't you think the most interesting thing to see how it plays out is, okay, so Denver, however many guys had been working out at the facility, now all of a sudden are the doors shut to them? The owner's like, hey, no, you guys said you're not coming. It's too dangerous, so you can't come lift here anymore.
Well, that's what I was thinking about if this was happening for me whenever I tried to go kick at the facility or whatever, because it's 5,000 times easier. There's more balls, more reps, everything like that. And they're like, no, you're actually not allowed in here. Your PA said you guys aren't allowed in here because it's not safe. It's like, can I just use the indoor? Like, no.
Yeah, and if those dudes do stay at the facility and lift, won't the rest of the players be like, what the fuck are you doing? You're kind of screwing us.
No, the rest of the players won't, but the media will.
Okay.
Because the media will know that they're there, so they'll ask questions. Those guys will have to give statements, and there will be statements from the NFLPA about the statements that were made. It's just going to be one big statement game. It's going to be one big statement. We're going to be chasing statements.
Who's got the best PR team?
I'll tell you, it's the NFL every time.
You're gonna be chasing statements right up until like July 29th when mandatory off-season programs begin for players. When they say, okay, this is when camp opens up, we'll figure it out.
They're going to be cooking that all the way up until
Midnight Madness. I mean, they want to do the whole opening of training camp. That's going to be a whole thing too.
No, training camp, I don't think that's a part of this conversation. I think the players are like, yeah, we're cool with training camp. As long as you guys do it the same way we did last year, there's a ramp-up period, then you do the thing. We'll do that rather than come do OTAs, fucking bust our ass for however many weeks, and then take a 4-week break and then come all the way back in full speed. I think a lot of guys like the rhythm of last season for their bodies and for their careers as opposed to the OTA workload and then cliff for 3-4 weeks and then back all the way there. They like the ramp up period. And I assume there's a lot of science that says that's right. But anytime you change anything and start pitting people against each other, it's going to be a full fucking scene, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not easy either when you got the NFL just saying, hey, Tom, remind him. And they're just, giving him a nice little stat.
Hey, Tom, can you let them know that there's a lot of people working out in them buildings right now? Tom's like, you got it. How many, actually?
Go ahead and remind him, Tom.
And Tom's like,
this
is unbelievable.
That's a great point.
They do.
That's a great point. This is bullshit.
What is going on? Dude, I love Tom. I enjoy Tom, but Tom is speaking for the NFL when he speaks. And by the way,
does he admit to that?
I think so. I think I've said to him a couple of times, well, you're speaking for the NFL here whenever. And I think that's like his thing, though. I think that's like legitimately his thing. And it's a great angle, by the way, because it's kind of like you always have an ace in the hole almost.
When Rapshi came on, you're like, oh, you actually can't talk about that because of the NFL. Right?
Yeah,
I forget
like,
which
they never.
They prefer I don't, but they don't care.
But I would never.
If a tree falls in a wood, basically, is what Ian said. I love Ian Rappaport, by the way.
Rapshi's the best.
He said, what's this all about?
Yeah.
He put a tweet out, and then I got a text.
Oh,
really?
Knows.
Yeah, I didn't answer him. By the way, I'm up to something, though.
How many years do you think you can use that?
I'm up to something?
I mean, I think it'll be continuous the rest of your life.
I think so, too, yeah.
It's ageless.
I think that is... I think if we take a little look-see at my life, I believe this is probably going to be a trend, yeah.
Yeah.
Just strictly because, why not? And then why not? What?
Okay.
And then why not? You know what I mean? It's just
I think that's a good strategy to live by. Why not? Like people say, why do you do that? I say, why not?
Why not?
Why shouldn't I?
I'll tell you, there's been plenty of thing that has been rolled across the old table or desk, and I've gone, nah. And then I looked at it and was like,
why not?
Why not? I mean, maybe if we can we potentially, yeah. Am I allowed to also do the show still? Yeah. How would that work? We'll figure it out. Oh.
Okay.
So that's how the masked dancer came about.
AJ, listen.
Stop, dude.
This
AJ,
guy.
Listen, dude.
This guy. Gump.
AJ. We're doing a giveaway, pal, okay?
The glasses. Have you ever worn prescription glasses?
In my life?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was damn near blind. Thanks for asking. I had to get LASIK.
Before he got LASIK, dude. Do you
Pay
listen,
attention.
AJ? His eyes were dried out from contacts,
Remember?
dude.
Bro, I didn't take them out for 6, 7, 8 months, and then against the Rams, one popped out, and I was watching in stereo. You know what I mean? Depth perception was a little bit of a problem there. But yeah, I did. I actually, all the way up until like 8th grade, I just walked around like this all the time. And people were like, that kid's eyes stink, I thought.
Someone get that kid some glasses.
So then I got contacts, I had to learn how to do the whole thing. And then I very quickly was like, well, I'm not taking these out every single day. And it became became something that just became part of my eyes. So much so, I don't even think the Colts knew that I had contacts because there was no backup pair at the game that I was at because I had kept them in for so long periods of time.
Since you got drafted.
Yeah, and then I got LASIK. And it was like, oh my God, the world. It went from like 720 to 4K all of a sudden overnight. And it was like, this is fantastic.
Place is sweet.
So yeah, I do have glasses, but I like to save my eyes with the blue hue glasses.
Smart.
I'm up something.
Yeah, you are. Obviously. So how long is your LASIK supposed to last before you have to get it again?
Yeah, they told me I'm going to have to do it again. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it because how many years?
Told me 10 years when I got mine.
That is not long enough.
That's bullshit.
I did not know that I got some Mickey fucking Mouse laser in my eye. I did not ask that question. I just wanted to know when I was going to be able to see again. And they said tomorrow morning. And they gave me a couple of Ambiens. I passed out. I got Bret Hart glasses on the way out.
Ooh.
I passed out. Woke up the next morning. The world was much cleaner. I'm like, holy shit. I go to the practice facility was the first place I went to, by the way. I walked in there and I was like, the ceiling was just like in 4K because I'd been blasting the ceiling, obviously. And then all of a sudden I can see what I'm hitting. I'm like, oh my God, look at that. This place is gorgeous. Good for us. In the whole world, it was like a whole new thing. I don't think I could do it again, though. They tape your eyelids open. Okay, they tape it open. Then this thing comes down and you smell your eyeball burning. Okay, you can smell it. You lose vision in the eye that is taped open. It's uncomfortable and they go, let us know whenever you see the blinking dot. Okay, you're still blind in your eye. And it's still smelling. Let us know when you see though. I don't. Is this very common? Very common. Let us know when you see. I still don't. It's okay. Just oh my God, there it is. And then a light will come back. It's like, whoo, I'm not fucking blind. And like, okay, got to do the other one. It's like,
damn it.
I got to go through this whole thing again. Tape the eye open. You don't see anything. And then the orange light comes back and you're like, thank God. Then you get some eye drops, get the Bret Hart glasses, go to sleep, wake up the next day, new world. I don't know if I can do it again, though.
I mean, what an amazing feat by humans to be able to do that, to change people's eyesight.
I agree. I still don't understand how it is. They take a layer off, maybe. I'm not 100% sure what they do. There's no way it's good for my eyes. It didn't smell that way. But I do like the fact that they figured it out because the world
What about what if you were those people in like the trial periods when they were just trying it out, when they had the idea?
No way.
I want to see those people.
No way.
The Johnson & Johnson again.
Hey. I mean, I guess it warrants conversation. It was headline news.
Yeah, it was.
Truly.
Gump, could I go to Canada right now, or is it shut
Not a
off?
chance.
No. Yeah, doubtful. It's
doubtful.
There's like a week. I think you actually need the vaccine to go in now. I'm not positive though. AJ.
I think that's going to become the thing to go anywhere.
But they don't. There's not many vaccines there at all, AJ. Like my parents are 65, I believe, and they're still not able to get it.
Are you allowed out of your house up there yet?
Barely. They closed dining in all restaurants. Gyms are starting to get shut down again.
Canada was locked down heavy there for a long time.
Toronto's going to lose both their sports teams.
Yeah.
What?
Blue Jays are playing down in Florida right now, and when that's done, they're going back up to Buffalo. The Raptors are too. Shit, they may never go back.
What?
Yeah.
Raptors have played the whole season in Florida.
There's been some Tampa Bay Raptors talk.
Bro, the Canada Raptors just won the fucking ship, dude. They can't leave town now. COVID comes through.
Yeah, Kawhi left, though, so they don't have a shot without him. Yeah. You know?
They don't have a team anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. It's Tampa Bay Raptors now.
Wow, I didn't know that. How come Pittsburgh couldn't pick up the Raptors? That would have been good for Pittsburgh.
Toronto might not carry their Leafs. If the Leafs win the cup, they might just say, take the basketball team. We don't care anymore. It's been 60 years.
What about the baseball team? Fuck them.
Yeah.
Toronto doesn't care?
I think if the Leafs win the cup, Gumpy.
Drake was at every single Raptors game.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to be happy if they don't come
he's
back.
an ambassador. He got a ring.
Yeah, he was damn near a mascot there for a while.
Yeah. Got to win the cup.
There are some really good Canadian basketball players right now, too.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Who's that? Steve Nash?
No, not him. Wiggins, Canadian.
Who else?
Oh, Wiggins really good.
God, who else is
Yeah,
this?
go ahead.
Is Jalen Green Canadian?
Go on.
Go ahead, Foxy. We wanna
I
hear-
swear I had it on.
They're going to be bummed up there, man. 'cause all
Jamal
their
Murray,
stars-
who just tore his
Thank you.
ACL.
Yeah,
I knew there
rest
was
in peace,
more.
Out for
ACL,
a
by the way.
year.
One of those Duke guys was Canadian, right?
RJ Barrett. Yeah,
there you
Thank
go.
you.
Shea
What they
Gilgeous
call him?
Alexander.
What they call him? Maple Mamba, and then everybody decided not to call him that anymore.
I don't know. I have no idea. I do not know that.
Steve Nash's godson.
I did not know that Canada was a factory of basketball players. I should have known that.
Well, it's not. You know, a lot of people would say the United States are a factory. for
Oh, the
basketball
dream
players.
team and all that.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to some phone calls.
Checks out.
Let's go to James in Seattle. What's going on, James? Russ is all the way back. He's the wolf hunting the wolf out there in the wolf woods.
No, the Seahawks suck. Oh, Niners.
Oh, shit. This is James. James, I think you've called him before. What do you want to talk about, dude?
Hey, so if Shanahan and Lynch get this wrong drafting up, is it like a fireable offense?
I think so. Not this year, but it will be on the record of, because we won't know this year or next year or whenever. And it's kind of like the Nagy Pace situation. It's going to take too long. I don't know if it's fireable offense immediately, but I think it'll be a part of. If this quarterback does not pan out, I believe these two guys potentially going to have to find new jobs, even with how successful they have been.
Even with how like the free agency quarterback market has kind of blossomed into something. Like, if,
You know, I guess you're right, because Chris Ballard, Frank Reich, they're just like, team's very good, one quarterback away. Maybe the ownership will be understanding.
especially with Shanahan, it's like, hey, any quarterback can succeed.
But what we're learning is not.
Yeah.
But then also too, like if they don't win the Super Bowl, you could still come to back. Well, look how much you mortgaged to move up, and and then you just spent money in free agency.
If you trade up and get Mac Jones and he's a bust,
it's going to be a conversation.
That's a big
It's
conversation.
going to be a conversation, I think, even though they could potentially get a free agent and save it and the whole thing with the amount of players out there. But it will be a conversation down the road, don't you think, AJ?
Yeah, I would say, like, think about it. Like, 2 years from now, 2 seasons from now, if the Niners are still searching for their franchise quarterback, yeah, it's going to be an issue for John Lynch and Shanahan.
How do we feel about this OTAs thing? Is going to be a fucking big deal, and OTAs do not matter in everybody's mind.
NFL's king.
No, but it's going to be a big deal. There's going to be a conversation. There's going to be a real thing that happens here. Oh my God!
You think if like the big guys, Brady, Rodgers, like the top tier dogs of the NFL?
Yeah, but like
they come
Brady's
out-
not going to.
Yeah,
right?
Rodgers
no
doesn't
way.
want to.
No way.
Said his arm felt better last year than it ever has.
That's what I'm saying. And Aaron's like, I won the MVP with the way we did things last year. Is there any chance we could potentially replicate that?
Like, think about it. There's no way. I would doubt that Tom and Aaron are going to stand out there and go take a public stance. Like, hey, guys, we got to get back in there. I'll get back in the facility in April.
There's going to be somebody that does it.
Somebody will, though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not going to be Tom or Aaron.
See, I'm saying the opposite though. If Tom or Aaron are like, hey, yeah, we're not doing this, will the NFL be like, okay, well, if those two guys, then let's just not make this a thing and just let them do it?
I think if Tom and Aaron were to come out and say something like that, I think it would be a much quicker thing.
Yeah.
But then do Tom and Aaron want to be the face of that? You know? There's so much. It's such bullshit, too.
Yeah.
And we are going to have to cover it because it's going to be made out to be a big thing. Because it is. Imagine if I couldn't go kick balls at the facility, huh?
Jeez.
Be screwed.
Because we can't figure out COVID. It's like, yeah, come on, let me get.
These rookie quarterbacks.
Can I get in the lab? Can I try to figure out COVID? I mean, I haven't tried yet.
What happened to the dogs?
Yeah, didn't we have COVID sniffing dogs?
What did happen to them? They're only from Miami Heat game, or what happened?
That really happened at one point. We celebrated, by the way, at that point, because let's just reproduce those dogs.
We should replace them with the Digi Dogs.
Yeah.
These Digi dogs can't sniff COVID. You got to get a German Shepherd for that.
Yeah, but they're teaching them how to sniff bombs.
No, yeah, but can't sniff COVID.
They'll do the test for you. They'll fucking pull blood and everything.
By the way, take all the bomb dogs that are real, that were potentially losing their lives for the sake of humans there, now that we got
Sad.
the Digidogs, and take those dogs, old dog, new tricks, not normal, but with these dogs, elite dogs, you could do it. Take them to the COVID training thing, and let's get them sniffing COVID.
That's not a bad idea.
You do wonder if there might have been, one or two of those pups who couldn't actually sniff COVID.
What do you?
What?
Unfortunately.
What?
That might have been horseshit.
Come on, dude.
Hey, Pat, they had a dog sniffing us on the way into the Masters, and the cop that had him, we had to stop, and he walks around, I assume, sniffing for bombs. And I was like, oh, is this a COVID dog? And the guy's like, no. And how he looked at me and said no, I'm like, oh, so you've been asked this like 300 times already.
Okay, you're fed up that your dog can't sniff COVID. Okay, you're done with the question. Next question, please. That's a clown question. This is a bomb, okay? Not a COVID. You're going to have to go down the road to the Miami Heat game to find those. How come they were the only ones that had them?
I don't know.
NASCAR did it for a little bit, too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The documentary on all of this years from now is going to be incredible.
Oh, my God. There was COVID sniffing dogs.
Like the guy, because there's a guy out there that says he has like a stable of 15 dogs, and he leases them out all over the place, and they don't do anything, really.
Yeah, so very early I put a COVID gene. How'd you get that? Well, I had COVID and I pulled it out of my skin. I put it on a tennis ball, you see, and I put it in front of my dog and I threw it, and I put it in front of my dog and I threw it, and then I started giving him treats. All of a sudden, guess what? He wasn't looking for the tennis ball anymore. He was looking for that smell, that scent. Put him out into the world. Now I charge $10,000 a day.
And it works.
It'll all start with the basketball game, too. Do not panic. The game is canceled.
Everybody exit the arena. Do not panic. We are about to begin a 13-month lockdown. Imagine if that's what he said, which would have been the truth.
That would have been awesome.
What the reaction would have been.
If he said that.
Let's get to Dan over there in Pennsylvania. What's going on, Dan?
Pat and the boys, how's it going?
Not too shabby, Dan. About to wrap things up here. To be honest, Taylor in Florida, Bill in Washington State, and Jack in Rochester potentially going to be on hold for the entirety of this thing, and that's a shame, but I'm up to something, so I'll get you next time, I think. So, Dan, potentially last call. What do you want to talk about, potentially?
Yeah, two quick questions. One, I just wanted to get your thoughts or feelings about one of the best special team batteries in the league in Sam Koch, Justin Tucker, and Morgan Koch.
Dan, you don't even know the guy's name. Okay, Morgan Cox is a member of the Titans now, and Sam's last name is Cook, not Koch.
I'm sorry, Cook. Yeah, sorry. And the main question was...
You butchered two of the three.
The Wolf Pack is what they're called. The main question was, do you think Belichick maybe reaching a little bit this year with, adding all these free agents and potentially trading up and even, like you said, maybe colluding with Justin Fields and things like that? Because of Tommy Boy down there in Tampa winning a ring, or do you think this is just like a normal thing for? I know
Tom E. Curran, and I think you were about to finish there, and I apologize, Dan. I thought you were done. Tom E. Curran said that they just so happened to have cap space in a time where cap space was a huge thing, so they took advantage of it. But let's not act like Kraft and Bill and everybody didn't see what Tom just did. I mean, they had to have seen that, and they see what the NFL did, and they want to be at the top of the NFL. So it's not just Tom. I think it's the fact of all of it, potentially.
And Michael Lombardi said it, too. It's like, do you think Belichick didn't know that the team that they had last year wasn't one of the better teams and, didn't have great players on it? He knew. He knew that, verbatim, Michael Lombardi said he knew Ryan Izzo going out there and playing tight end wasn't the guy that's going to get the job done. So, yeah. And it's
by the way, Ryan Izzo, a ricochet shot there from Lombardi.
Big time. He loved last year.
But I like that he's potentially pissed off about Tom having success and going for it, but I'm not 100% sure if that's true, if it's Tom or if it was anybody and they stunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think it was the fact that Bill knows he didn't have a team that was going to be able to compete for the Super Bowl last year, and he planned on making big moves this offseason, whether Tom won the Super Bowl or not. Either way, yeah, Tampa Bay won, but Tom was gone. That's the factor. That's why I think they have to go out there and make this splash.
Hey, by the way, Tom was really good at football.
Yeah,
very good. You remember they were talking about certain offenses he'd be good in and certain things that they couldn't do in New England with Tom. They couldn't throw the deep ball. They couldn't do this. And then Tom just completes the most deep balls in the NFL this year and just completely flips the game on its head, has enough juice for everything. We asked Clyde Christensen right after they signed Tom Brady, and I said, what about his arm strength? Because there was some throws when he was with New England where it was like a 20-yard, maybe he's scrambling to his left, and he threw a touchdown to the back of the end zone. And when it hit the guy's hands, I saw the guy's hands pop, and I was like, okay, that's telling me that Tom can still huck the shit out of the pigskin. It's not like that ball barely made it. It was a scramble, throw, seed. But then everybody was like, well, his arms died. He's old. By the way, easy narrative to spin, especially with how old he is. It's like, okay, his arms died. And then Clyde Christensen was like, when you watch the film, there was nothing that said that his arm was dead. They didn't do a lot of those plays. They didn't have those weapons. But he proved that to be 100% right. And he's almost playing better football now than he ever had before, potentially because BA is asking him to play differently now.
Yeah, and his arm strength, like, it's not like Tom had this crazy rocket arm his whole life. He had a very, very strong arm, but he's so accurate and he anticipates everything so well. So obviously the more reps he gets, how many years he played now? 21? 20, I don't
Forever.
Whatever it is.
Yep, 21.
I mean, he's been there forever doing it, so he can anticipate everything. So even if he lost a little bit of arm strength, which I don't think he has, it would be tough to notice because of his anticipation.
Well, and they said that was because they weren't throwing as many deep balls and completing as many deep balls. His percentage, just like the Josh Allen thing. It's crazy how good Josh Allen got at the deep ball whenever you gave him Stephon Diggs. You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of a correlation there. Let's go to Taylor in Florida. I wasn't going to answer, but here we go, Taylor. Since you waited around, Jack stayed on the line and Bill stayed on the line, by the way. After I gave like a hey, probably not.
Hey, guys.
They still stayed on, so I guess we should reward the persistence. So, Taylor, what do you want to talk about?
Boys, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, just hanging out. How are you down there in Florida?
I'm good. It's warming up here. I just want to talk about the old Buccaneers parade. I was actually a captain on one of the boats there.
Okay.
The players.
Okay, so was your boat just rented out by the Buccaneers, or how'd you get involved in that?
So our owner is actually good friends with a lot of the higher-ups there in Tampa, and he's made it work. He just pulled a couple strings. We have 4 boats in the Yacht Starship fleet. Those are the big white boats that you saw the players on. Then we have that red pirate ship. That was also had some of the players on it, and some of them little yellow water taxis as well.
Okay, so was that something where did you guys do that for the Tampa Bay Lightning as well? Did that happen? Did the Lightning have a boat parade as well?
Yeah, the Lightning had the boat parade, but they had kind of a shit show on there, and they had a bunch of little boats where all the fans and whatever could ride right up onto them, and they went wild. The Buccaneers.
We're talking heavy boats.
A little more organized. Yeah. Oh yeah. 150 feet on the one I was on. 180 actually.
Oh, hey, you're driving them big boats out there, Cap. Now I have a question for you. Whenever you in that whole thing, have you ever gotten stuck like the Evergreen down there in the Panama Canal?
No, I have not. So
maybe you should be driving them.
I've been driving these boats.
True.
Let's get this guy off the fucking boat parade and get him in the goddamn international trade
immediately.
One of those days, man. One of those days. But
did you grow up on the water?
For 2 years. Yes. Yeah, I did.
You a skier?
Wakeboard, actually.
Super cool. Do you do it without the rope? Because there's people that wakeboard within the wake of
wake
the
surf.
Wake surf. Do you do that as well?
I've tried it, but I'm a 6'5", 230 pounds, and my weight doesn't keep up with that kind of stuff.
So you fell in a couple of times because the board couldn't potentially keep you up with the wake, and you said, you know what, I'm the captain now, and you just started driving the boat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, I got a question for him, Pat.
Go ahead, AJ.
We didn't see any on TV. Did any players go in? I was shocked to see nobody jump off the boat. Did you guys give them strict rules or something?
Yeah, what's the deal?
Yeah, they weren't allowed to. There was a lot of people trying to jump from other boats towards us. There's a couple times when we passed the bridges.
I want to get on his boat.
We were going by the bridges, and people were jumping off the bridges trying to get to us. But we're supposed to have a Coast Guard escort, no boats within 50 yards or 50 feet of us, but you saw how well that one worked out.
Oh, a no boat zone. Yeah, kind of like a no fly zone with the stadium down there. I think that's smart. We're talking to Taylor, one of the captains of the boats in the boat parade for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, when you're the captain of the boat, you can get a buoy, right? I mean, you can get a lot of buoys. You got to be the only sober person out there. Were you in the other captains of all the boats that you just referred to, including the pirate ship and the little yellow floaty things you talked about? Were they all sober drivers? And how'd you not get involved in the party? And how do you continue to not get involved in the party?
So yeah, we all are sober. We have to actually have a random drug test through the Coast Guard. So no vitamins for us, unfortunately.
Yeah. Probably make it better.
Yeah, I mean it was fun.
There are no tugboats out there.
What's that?
There's no tugboats out there.
What the fuck's a tugboat? Is that a?
They were on the poles. They're actually, we go through the port of Tampa. There were plenty of tugboats, but they were smart. They were sitting at the dock just watching from a distance.
Do you guys go through a lock?
No locks there. A lot of bridges, a lot of drawbridges.
Okay, yeah, drawbridges go up. You know, when they don't have those, like in Pittsburgh, you go in a lock and you kind of drop or go up the lock, and then you kind of go off there. Happy to hear your boats, got the drawbridges down here. I want to kind of, like they do in the movies, I want to kind of jump one of my cars, by the way, over the drawbridge. You know what I mean? Have you ever seen one of that? Have you ever seen that happen, Taylor, while you're maybe captaining a ship and the drawbridge goes and all of a sudden Jason Statham in a Shelby comes flying over?
Yes. I have seen, we just did a trip to Clearwater, and one of the bridges started going up for us, and I saw a guy on a bike think about it a couple times. He backed up, went for it.
Motorcycle?
It was a bicycle. No, bicycle, pedal.
What was that guy? What was that big Mick Hoffa? Ex-game Hoffman?
Matt Hoffman.
Oh, Matt Hoffman.
Matty Hoff.
Was it Matt Hoffman?
Dave Mira.
Dave Mira?
R.I.P.
Probably could have been, for all I know.
Yeah, was there pegs on that, or did it seem to have no pegs? And did it take the pegs off to get that thing lighter so maybe it can make the leap from the drawbridge?
More aerodynamic. That's what it's all about there.
Yeah, you got to, the kids that had the pegs on both the back and the front, those kids were really doing it.
Do not fuck with those.
Doing
kids.
it out there. And don't fuck even more so with people who only had the pegs on the one side. Because they were bad about it.
Straight
grinding.
Bad it.
Taylor's 6'5", 230. Get that kid a uniform.
Yeah.
Basketball or football?
No,
football.
Trevor Lawrence should be throwing this guy footballs next year.
Sounds like Joe Jaravicious.
Yeah, but dude can't stand up on a fucking wakeboard.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
True.
How hard is that, by the way? I've never done it.
It's like snowboard.
I've never done that either. I've gone on a bird scooter though. I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Then you'd be fine.
What about a hoverboard? I'm pretty good on it. Do you ski?
I've never skied. I can wakeboard, and wake surfing is actually easier than wakeboarding for sure.
Do you let go of the rope, AJ, once you find your groove in there?
I mean, if I'm actually the few times I've done it, it's usually been like we're trying to take a boat that's not made to wake surf and make it, try to get the wake big enough. So I've been able to throw the rope in, but very few times.
So you guys are kind of outlaws.
Wow.
No.
Kind of mavericks on the water.
We just don't. Person that would take us out, we're like, hey, let's try to wake surf, and like, well, this isn't exactly set up for it because the boats that are set up for wake surfing and wakeboarding are like 250K and have ballast tanks in the back.
You need a nautique out there.
Yeah, are you kind of like in 3 or 4 of them, right? It's like you need like a couple of them, don't they?
No. You get those nautiques are fucking mint.
Couple boats?
No. I've seen boats that have like multiple engines on the back of it. Multiple things on the back.
Yeah, it's not for wakeboarding.
Oh,
could
sorry,
be.
Yeah, could. Sorry, pal. I didn't grow up on
Kelly
water.
Slater over there.
All right.
Like fishing boats that want to go fast.
All right. Hey, Boathouse Hawk, listen.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear it, all right? Evan also grew up on a pond as well. Hey, what are you, on the pond?
I've never done the wake
Making waves on the pontoon.
But I have done the wakeboarding.
How are you? Pretty good?
Yeah, not bad.
I see you do a backflip off a boat, too. That was super cool.
I'll do that as well.
Damn. Ice cold Bud Light in your hand.
Man, I was always super jealous of the lake people.
Yeah.
You know, they
Lake
had the
life.
house on the lake, went and did the lake thing. I never got
One of those trampolines out there.
in the water, or one of those things where you drop in the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to see those all the time.
Heavyweights.
I was so jealous of those people.
We just
I've
had
never
to worry about
done a
going to
blob
the
in
river,
person.
getting tetanus and a dead body from swimming up.
Yeah, we're walking to the creek trying to get crawfish while you guys are out there doing your little lake life, dude. Must be nice.
That's Michigan, baby.
I'm skipping rocks on a creek. You guys are skipping wakeboards in the back of a wake, sort of from nautiques, dude. Different life, AJ. Different life.
It is a different life. I bet Foxy would pop up so quickly on a wakeboard. Like me being bigger, you got to really gun that thing, and it takes a while to ride through. I bet Foxy just pops right on up.
What's also?
Yeah, people don't give my legs enough credit in that aspect, AJ, but it does help me pop up like that.
All right.
He also has fingers, AJ.
powerful.
You know, that kind of hurts your
Can't
case.
hold on to
Can't
the
hold
rope.
on to fucking anything.
Because I would assume the power comes through the rope, through your hand.
Yeah.
And it's like, for kicking, for instance, you're trying to get leg lock. You know, whenever you get leg locked out in contact, at the same time, it's the most amount of power because everything's going through there.
Yeah.
I think golf is the same thing. I think baseball is the same thing. I would assume with that it's the same thing, but you can't get that thing locked out all the way on that thing because your fingers are just, you're kind of pointer finger thumbing that thing.
Yeah, it looked like a clown. You
know what I
couldn't
mean?
even do it if you tried.
So the power of the boat couldn't fully come through. You know what I mean? That's not your fault. It's your dedication to football.
Yeah.
I think you'd be surprised at how much grip I have in those 3 fingers on each side.
Well, that's what, like Scootsy, my 3-legged cat, you should see her get around because she's just so used to it. It's kind of your thing now. Like, you've just had to get used to not being able to.
Yeah.
Not better than Arnold.
No.
What's that?
Not better than Arnold.
Oh, yeah, dude,
no
that
way.
guy.
Yeah.
He's right there just hanging.
10,000 feet in the air.
I wonder if he can wake. You think he can wakeboard?
Oh, yeah.
I think he uses those.
He can do anything.
Probably does it in the fucking hot springs before he, hits up El Capitan.
Oh, guys are out in Yellowstone. Probably.
AJ, I did not expect you to be a lake guy. I'm so jealous.
I'm not. I wish I was. I growing up, I would get usually to tag along in one of my buddies like once a year. But when I was in Green Bay, that's when I learned to wakeboard.
Yeah, because there's some states that just like lake life is like what you do.
Oh, yeah.
I am so Michigan, I assume, is one of them because they got a goddamn lake named after it. But the feeling of watching how much fun it looked like to have a lake life, I was very envious. I think I'm gonna get into a lake house at some point. It looks like a great time.
It's the best.
The best?
The best. That's my whole childhood in the summers.
The best? The beach life? Lake
Better
life?
than beach life.
Mountain life?
I don't know enough about mountain life to say.
Yeah, but you can go Lake Tahoe and have both of them.
Lake life is one of a kind.
It seems like it's awesome. Lake life people seem to be having a blast at all times. Maybe I'll become a lake person.
Do you know who Kevin Millar is?
Yeah.
Baseball player.
How can you not?
I don't.
You hang out with Millar?
Don't let us win tonight.
I couldn't
Well,
guess who that is.
baseball guy. He has that show with Chris Rose. He does, but he's a guy that's a big
Chris
fun guy.
Rose.
If you follow him on Instagram or Twitter, he lives on a lake in Texas somewhere, and he has the greatest setup you could think of, like for lake life. He's always posting videos. He's got his big old Yeti with him with his kids, and they're wakeboarding, they're doing all kinds of stuff.
And I like going to the ocean because I like staring out at nothing. Like it really puts everything into perspective with how big. We went up to Lake Michigan. It was like I was staring out the ocean. I was
Might as well be.
I did not know lakes had it like this. You got the view, you got the access, you got everything. It's lake life. I'm so jealous of lake life. I wonder if I'm ever going to be able to figure out how to wakeboard.
Yeah, that's easy.
Sharks.
You pick it up pretty quick.
No sharks, but there are river monsters in there.
True.
You got to fucking watch it.
It's true.
I'd rather deal with them.
There was a sawfish that came up on land somewhere.
Sawfish?
Biggest of all
Pogo.
time. Biggest of all time. Just popped up on the land or whatever.
Not to mention the Loch Ness Monster.
What's that?
The
Loch Ness.
That's in
Ogopogo.
Scotland, dude.
The
Don't
Loch
worry
Ness
about it.
Monster. No, there's one in almost every lake, they say.
Really?
There's a big epidemic of this fish that would pop out of the water and smack people in the face when you're going like 50 miles an hour and actually like knock people out.
Loch Ness Monster.
And that was a big problem in lakes in Michigan.
Carp. There's like carp. They have big issues with them. They drive and they catch them in big nets, don't they?
Yeah.
Drop dynamite down.
I've tried to fish.
There you go.
I have tried to fish 10 to 15 times. I've caught 0 fish. Everybody had to be quiet. I caught one. I'm sorry. I caught one. It was a swordfish coming out of Lake Minnetonka. Okay, I caught one fish. I tried 10 to 15. He was a huge fish. And everybody had to be quiet. Conditions had to be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
You're telling me on these lakes, people are hauling 50 fucking miles an hour and fish are just jumping up right into their fucking hands?
Yeah, it's really dangerous.
I've been fishing wrong this entire time.
Yeah, if you just sit on the end of a boat and you just troll, you just fucking throw your rod out there and you just fucking troll.
Oh, yeah. Gump, you're a lake guy, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's like half-hour drive to the lake back home. There's water everywhere back home. It's probably my best friend back home. He's got a nautique. It's fucking awesome.
So it's good to have a friend with a boat, from what I've been told.
Rather than pay for one.
Yeah, if it flies, floats, or drives, lease it.
There it is.
Said The Rock in a show that he did go broke in.
Yeah.
True. I'd buy
He said that on a New Rock or whatever.
No, dude.
New Rock.
Great show.
I forgot what.
Young Rock.
Young Rock.
Did you say Junior Rock? What are you doing back here, Foxy?
Should have been Little Rock.
This is disgusting.
New episode tonight. He's got girl
Tonight, dude.
8 o'clock. I hope
Yeah,
it's more
gonna
rock and not that
fucking
guy.
stink again.
No, it won't.
Yeah, it will.
How old is he now? Is the kid playing him still the same kid?
Well, it depends on which episode because they're going back to different stories, which is why he'll handle things in certain different situations when he's president in 2032. Just hang on, I'm coming is his statement or whatever. And he just posted that 46% of humans in America would vote for Dwayne Johnson as president. And he said he's humbled, obviously, and he's thinking about it. But in Young Rock, he calls back to times, he tells stories. This last one was just a very long story. And I get it. It was his action movie love where it was founded, but it was tough. It was a tough episode last week. But he'll bounce back. That's what The Rock does.
Yeah, or it'll just fucking blow for the rest of the season. The whole entire show will be a tank.
You can't knock it out of the ballpark every episode.
Well, everything, dude.
Yeah.
He's got Zoa, best. Terramana, best. Yeah. He caught a car once in that movie or three of them.
Yeah.
Best.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so take it easy, dude.
Yeah, stick to that stuff.
Let's have faith that Young Rock is going to continue to be awesome. Anyways, what I was saying was, if I can get back to this.
I need to check The Rock. I haven't seen it. Probably. I think I saw the
What
first
were we
two
talking
episodes.
about going in?
Talking about the lake life.
Yeah, but how did we get to Young Rock, AJ? That's your fault.
Asked if you were watching New Rock still.
Oh, because you said the Ballers quote about it. And he said, "Whoa, is that on Young
Your
Rock?"
friend that does it. Your friend leases it.
Yeah.
And then you said if it's a boat or a plane or a car, lease it, don't buy it.
No, if it flies, floats, or
There it
drives.
is.
Jesus Christ.
Do you even watch Ballers?
Do you even care?
No, I don't watch Ballers. No, I don't.
Me neither, by the way, but I got it sent to me by a lot of people.
Rob Codrick kills it.
Bingo. That's what I was thinking.
Denzel Washington.
That's what you were thinking. So you were thinking The Rock kills it, huh?
No, I was thinking Jay Glazer and The Rock kill it in Ballers. So.
Oh, okay.
I think he owns a team at the end.
Yeah, I think so too. He started out.
Spoiler.
They didn't want to let him in, but
He's the president and he owns a team. Probably.
Wait, how many episodes are
Mickey
Jay
Mouse
Glazer
team.
in?
Huh?
How many episodes is Jay Glazer in?
3, 4, 5, maybe a whole season. Not 100% sure. I've never watched, but I've heard it's great. Let's get
I've
to
seen some of it.
What's that Will Smith movie that's really good?
The Tooth Fairy?
Concussion?
can't remember one.
The one that was voted the worst of all time?
I Am Legend.
Geely.
No.
After Earth.
Yeah.
No.
No, it was.
Oh, the Netflix one that Nick
Yeah.
loves.
Bright.
Bright. I love that movie.
That's a really
It's
good
actually
movie.
got a-
That got voted worst movie of all time.
that movie.
It's got a good soundtrack, dude.
Why
There's
is
some
that movie
bangers
Bingo.
on there.
I
It's
love
called Bright.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a steaming pilot.
AJ,
You
love
can't.
it. No, it's not.
It is so
No,
good.
it's not.
Jay Glazer, by the way, 15 episodes of Ballers.
Really?
Good for him.
He won an Emmy.
It's literally named
I think
after him.
he wrote a couple episodes, didn't he?
Wow.
Let's go to Bill in Washington. Bill,
won an
what's
Emmy.
going on? He did not win an Emmy, by the way. He should have. He was snubbed. He was snubbed for 15 straight episodes.
This is the best thing. I'm looking at his IMDb page while I was looking up how many episodes of Ballers he had. For his trivia, there's only 2 things. Number 1, sportscaster. Number 2, friends with Michael Strahan. That's it.
No, so IMDb, whoever.
Come on,
that is,
guys.
this guy is
Jesus.
accomplished.
Are you running IMDb?
Yeah, no, because we are fans
No,
of
it'd be
Jay.
fucking 10 paragraphs long if I did.
Bill, Washington, what do you want to talk about? Jesus. IMDb needs to do a little bit more research.
Yeah, they do.
Well, it's, fan submissions, so
Is that how it operates?
pretty much.
We need to start submitting some of those
I'll
things.
fucking beef it up tonight.
Yes. Go to Bill and watch. Bill, what's going on, man? I think you just got off mute while we were still trying to finish the conversation. Great to have you. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, couple of things. One, do you think that if Tom Brady was to call up Julian and say, hey, I could use you in Tampa, that you would actually consider unretiring?
Yeah, in Florio, great question, Bill. Appreciate that. Florio had an article where he was like, technically, Edelman could come out of retirement for a playoff run with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have no idea. I did not read or look into that enough. I would love it if it happened.
Yeah.
Did you see what he I guess the opinion he put of what he technically could do? They said Edelman got released from the Patriots, so he doesn't get tested anymore. He could juice his way up, get back to healthy, and then join the Bucs like in November or December and make a run.
And I don't know, by the way, love that is a hypothetical that could happen. Hopefully, whatever Julian wants to do, Julian does. But I don't think he does that Foxborough forever thing.
Exactly.
In 1 year after does it. Now, if in a couple years they figure out something for maybe his knee and maybe modern science changes it, maybe he'll have a second thought. But I thought it was pretty cool the way he did the whole Foxborough Forever thing. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I felt like he was kind of almost at peace with being done with football.
There was a couple moments in there where he almost broke, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he thought a couple minutes into that, like, we're here now. I got to continue. It was a one shot. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Good video.
I wonder if he memorized that or if they had something behind the screen.
Prompter. I think there's a prompter.
Probably off the cuff.
From the heart. What are we talking about?
There's no way it's a prompter.
Well, AJ,
I'm
you
not
literally
saying-
just said it was off a screen. Then you say no, it's no way.
No. I was suggesting prompter to Connor when he said, like, do you think he was reading it or cue cards or whatever it was? No, something like that. That should come from the heart, and
That's why
of something that he wrote.
That's
not
why if
like-
you're a best man or a maid of honor,
don't read it. Do not read it.
do not read it. Do not. Everybody in the room realizes that it's probably fake what you're saying if you're reading it, and it's uncomfortable. You're looking, you're laughing. Please laugh. Please clap.
And they always get lost. They always get lost too, like with their 7 sheets of paper crumbling around.
And by the way, I understand it's a big moment, it's a cool moment, but
then take some time and do some prep and memorize it. If you're that worried about it, memorize what you write down.
hey, CFO Phil, I made his ass do it without paper. Yeah. It was the first thing he said in this thing. It's like, well, I wasn't allowed to read.
He's smart. I think that's a great rule that you put in there. That's how it should be, man. If it's your best man or your maid of honor,
You know
you've
enough
known
about
them
me.
for a long time.
Hey, you know enough. It's a big deal.
Tell a story.
It's a huge day in your life.
Let's go to Jack in Rochester. Jack, what's going on?
Good one, Gump.
What's up, AJ, Pat, and the fucking boys?
How you doing, pal?
Fucking gold, boys.
Huh?
Oh, I'm doing all right, pal. How about yourself?
Hey, not too shabby. How are you?
Decent. Hey, I just wanted to know, who are your top 3 favorites? So not like greatest ever or like Mount Rushmore, your favorite 3 WWE wrestlers of all time.
Oh, great question, Jack. Appreciate that. Impossible. I've done this 100 times. There's different buckets you have to go into.
Bob
Staying-
Backlund's always there, though.
Bob Backlund. We know who number 1 is.
And he walks over everybody.
I agree. By the way, I 100%. There's different buckets, you know. I think whenever you watch something for numerous decades, you're going to enjoy it for different reasons. I think it's tough just to say top 3 of all time, but it's always the same. It's always the same situation. Who took the WWF, made it to WWE, the global sensation? Well, you got to immediately go to the Attitude Era with Stone Cold, The Rock, D-Generation X, and the whole Monday Night Wars scene where you can then dive into Ric Flair with WCW, but you can even go before that because he was with NWA. I mean, there's so many different versions of the show of wrestling. It's impossible to have your top 3 favorites, but I would say the Attitude Era is what I most closely probably got shaped around, but Brock Lesnar is probably the greatest of all time if I had to put a real name on this whole thing.
The greatest professional wrestler of all time?
All time.
Really?
Yeah, because he went into real life, beat the fuck out of everybody, and then just came back and then did whatever he wants. He's been the marquee, the main event for 2 decades at this point. I mean, if he wants any time he wants to do anything, he does it. And also, people say that he only works like part-time. Well, he earned that after like 20 years of dedication, basically, at this point. And he'll still help out other wrestlers. You know, he'll still, and I think that's a big deal. I think it's believable. It's staying power. He was a part of the Attitude Era, still is an absolute monster. He is the person I would send to fight an alien if an alien came down here and wanted to have a battle it out for the planet Earth's existence. I think he is probably, but Cena's another guy. He carried the company.
He would have
You know what I
been UFC heavyweight champion and probably had 18 sacks off the edge if he wanted to.
If he really wanted to.
Mongo
McMichael has a place in the entire thing.
Ricky Boogs.
Yeah,
Rick
Boogs.
Come on, hey, Boogs. You know what? So we went down to the thing. You guys, hey, what's up, Boogs? I have no idea who you're talking about, and then you kind of told me about this dude, and then now he's been popping up like with my YouTube algorithm. Oh, I'm like, oh, who's this guy?
welcome.
And I was like, this is Boogs, who they're talking about. The guy is wild. What a unique character.
I think he's working for Taco Bell now, potentially.
Old Spice.
I think he's cutting promos for Old Spice. That way, it wasn't Taco Bell; it was Old Spice. He got a full promo. Yeah, it was interesting how the microphones got muted when I said "Sup, Boogs." When I walked into that building. We walked into that building. You know, well. Everybody's booing us. You know, loud, and then I see What's up, Boogs? Just walk by. Fucking love Boogs, dude.
Get him in the ring.
He might be squatting 9,000 pounds today while shredding an electric guitar in his garage that definitely has neighbors that wonder what the fuck is going on.
Get Boogs the strap right now.
All right, that's the show, dude. The show stinks. I'm up to something. AJ, do you have any other guesses other than Masked Dancer?
Masked Singer, maybe?
Okay. Ooh. We will be having a prize for the person that guesses it the closest.
Will you be leaving town for this?
What's that?
Will you be leaving Indianapolis?
For the whole... yeah. Oh. Maybe. Ooh, both answers are correct here, actually. Both answers are correct here.
Keep your eyes peeled. That could be a clue.
Yeah, maybe since you don't pay attention much because you were born without the ability to be observant. Maybe there'll be some more clues that'll come out, AJ.
Maybe.
You didn't deserve that. But earlier when you were like, I'm not good at that type of thing. It's like
riddles.
Being observant. Oh, okay. Putting things together, piecing things together. I might have put some clues out. It's big though. I'm excited. We're excited. It's coming in the next few weeks. We will have a prize of probably $5,000 to $10,000. We don't know yet, depending upon what clues we all leak out, because it is tough to, not talk about it because it is very cool.
Oh yeah,
very cool, and it's. I think it'll be
pretty big,
worth noting whenever I die.
Massive. Huge. Oh, you're finally taking that acting gig where you have to be like a 40-year-old douche.
All right. Is that your final answer? Is that your final guess? You will not be winning. Okay.
It's not my final, but it's one of them.
I'm not going to be a 40-year-old douche. Maybe in 7 years from now.
Passed on that role.
But we did. We can rule that one out.
Okay. That's good. Okay. I need to eliminate that. Now I can move on.
This is guess who doesn't have glasses. Yeah. Come on. I appreciate that. Not going to be a 40-year-old douche within the next couple weeks. 7 years, probably. Not now, though.
If you were, you could always study AJ on how to do it.
Hey, that's the show. See you, dude. Hammer Downs in 4 minutes. Cheers. Bye.